Let's observe a moment of silence, please. Thank you so much, honorable members. I have already greeted you. You are always welcome in this house. This is a new platform. We have just entered the new world. We are starting our meeting. I think we know the rules that you mute and you switch off your video, not unless you on the podium. In this platform, we are free just to debate when we are given a platform as members. I don't think it will be fair that we just heckle. I think so far, so good. All the members have been behaving. Let us not do it because all these are streamed online. So it will be bad that the people in the world are watching you while you are misbehaving. This is vote 11 that we are now currently going to hand over for 45 minutes. Honorable S. Shomuga to present his budget. The platform is all yours, Honorable MEC. Everyone is welcome. Honorable Shomuga, the platform is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Greetings to the Supreme of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Sihle Zikalala, members of the Provincial Executive Council, present, honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, the Chair of the Portfolio, Honorable Mthembu Mvelas, Nkosi Uchiliza, the Chairperson of Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, Amakhosi Asendlunkulu, present, mayors and councillors of the municipalities, the head of departments, provincial officials, citizens of KwaZulu-Natal. Mr. Chair, the theme of today is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic in KZN with a capable, ethical, and a developmental local government. Mr. Chair, 15 days from now, we will mark exactly 25 years since the passing of one of the South African revolutionary stalwarts, the pride of KZN province, the son of Midlands, Ubaba Ohere Gwala, who passed away on the 20th June 1995. His contribution to the liberation struggle of the people of our nation and the province was paramount. This year we also mark the centenary commemoration of Umtomdala, as he will be turning 100 years a month from now. It is particularly fitting that we recall the bravery of Comrade Gwala at a time such as this, when we face the most unprecedented of challenges. It is a time like this when we must emulate his bravery. This time demands us resilience and the courage to forge ahead. The fact that we present this budget speech of Vote 11 Cooperative Governance and Treasury Affairs for 2020-21 financial year via online platform is a sign of times. Mr. Chair, we must congratulate you and your capable team that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we have ensured that the show goes on. We have proved that accountability is not quarantine and that the service delivery is not under lockdown. We are reminded of the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara's weight, open quote, "You cannot carry out the fundamental change without a certain degree of method." In this case, it comes from the non-conformity, the courage to turn your back on the old formulas, and the courage to invest the future. It took a madman of yesterday for us to be able to act with extreme clarity today. Close quote. Today, we are those madmen, as we have, amidst of the current challenges, continue to carry out the new method and the formulas for doing our work. Indeed, the show must go on. The national lockdown in effect since 27 March 2020 has placed our municipalities under immune pressure, and it has severely kept their ability to raise revenue and provide services. This is the time when our limited resources to fight the pandemic have had to be pulled and redistributed towards a new and unforeseen priority: the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Chair, this is also a time where the steadfast cohort of leadership has been required to steer us forward. We are grateful of His Excellency, President Ramaphosa, and his cabinet together with the Honorable Premier Zikalala and his Executive Council for the unwavering leadership they have provided during these trying times. It is also fitting to acknowledge the role played by the National Minister of COGTA, Dr. Dlamini Zuma, in sailing us through this turbulent storm. Today we stand here resolute in offering our country support to the municipalities and traditional institutions at the time of crisis. So together we can deliver quality services as we've always done to the community of KZN. Mr. Chair, this is an opportunity to present not only a budget speech for Vote 11, cooperative governance and traditional affairs for 2020-2021 financial year, but it's a vision of local government in KZN. It is a blueprint to imitate the future, but also the time when we have regrouped our resources to realize our vision of a sustainable local government. It is a blueprint for the wide-ranging and far-reaching support for municipalities and traditional institutions for and beyond COVID-19, the world we now live in. Mr. Chair, last year we made a series of commitments to this August House. Today we're here to report on this, on the progress we've made in achieving what we set out to do during the first year of this administration. Before we make any further commitment, we will admit upfront that this journey has not been one without challenges. However, we remain upbeat, knowing that the path to success is always under construction. COVID-19 intervention, Mr. Chair, while it is fair to say that the global outbreak of COVID-19 was largely unforeseen, we as COGTA were able to respond to it with the necessary speed and effectiveness once the danger were known in our regional context. We are proud to report in this August House, Mr. Chair, that since the earliest days of COVID-19 pandemic in the province, we as COGTA will have at the forefront of effort to limit its spread in our municipalities and traditional institutions and the communities they serve. Following the national declaration of disaster, we promptly instructed all the local government institutions, including the traditional institutions, to limit their meetings and public gatherings and to educate and sensitize the communities as well as our employees about the ramification of the declaration of the state of disaster, which included the national lockdown from the 27th March 2020. In this regard, Mr. Chair, we've worked closely through the disaster management team with all the relevant stakeholders in the province, including the municipalities, Amakosi, sectoral departments, sub-social partners, the media, and the communities themselves. We remain in daily communication with the mayors and municipal managers within the framework of the provincial COVID-19 Command Council. We have also instructed the municipalities to ensure that the basic needs, the basic services, such as the provision of water, electricity, waste removal, continue in spite of the limitation on the freedom of movement and economic activity. We have instructed mayors and municipal managers to reconfigure their conditional grant funding towards the fight against the virus and streamline the procurement procedures towards the necessary maintenance and repairs to essential infrastructure. Mr. Chairperson, the sphere of local government itself has also heeded our call to action with great and exemplary agencies. Our municipalities and traditional leaders have, in their various capacities, called the compliance with the social distance rules or the deep cleaning of public spaces, such as municipal building, taxi rank, and other areas with a heavy foot traffic. At the same time, Mr. Chair, we have continued to distribute water tankers in areas with unresolved challenges in the delivery of water. We have also visited selected municipalities to monitor the progress on the ground and respond to practical concerns raised by the communities. We also continue to work with the Provincial Department of Health in facilitating the operation of screening, testing, and quarantine sites in all the relevant municipal jurisdictions. In addition, Mr. Chair, we have also ensured from day one that our own municipalities are adequately protected from the novel coronavirus in their respective workplace and sensitized to all the associated risks as they continue to discharge their duties. Our approach has been multi-pronged and comprehensive, and it will continue to be so until the entire province is declared COVID-19 free zone. The overview for 2019 and 2020 financial year, Mr. Chair, we stood before this August House to report on the work done for 2018-2019 financial year and also to commit our budget for 2019-2020 financial year. The budget were allocated has been used wisely and the results are there for all to see. Under economic transformation and job creation, Mr. Chairperson, as far as the budget cycle go, it was relieved that COVID-19 pandemic manifested itself towards the end of 2019-2020 financial year. This allowed us to deliver on the most commitments we made in this August House a year ago. On the economic transformation and job creation front, we have already placed 520 interns in municipalities and exceeding our target of 500. We also maintain the 45,000 work opportunities created through the community work program funded with 586 million by the national COGTA. In the intervention in municipalities under administration, Mr. Chair, there were 9 municipalities that were under intervention in terms of Section 139, 1B of the Constitution of the Republic at the start of 2019-2020. Since then, intervention at Ndomeni ended on the end 30th of November 2019, while the intervention in Richmond, Mtobatoba, Mzinyathi, Msunduzi, Inkosi Langalbalele, Mpofana, Baqolosi, Thukela district have been extended until the end of October 2020. The progress in eThekwini, Mr. Chair, is although eThekwini Metro has not been under intervention, and the change in leadership, in political leadership in the province only Metro has led to changes that need to be reported here. Since September 2019, eThekwini's Metro's new leadership has largely stabilized the city and accelerated the pace of service delivery, with eThekwini being the financial hub of the province. This is a heartwarming story to tell on behalf of COGTA. We do so here today, Mr. Chair, with pride. In improving municipal audit outcomes, we have developed the audit improvement plan wherein we have targeted 10 municipalities, namely Mzwabantu, Nqutu, Msinga, Mandeni, Mhlabiyalingana, Renkonyeni, Phongolo, Maphumulo, State of Mhlathuzo, Mlalazi, that achieved unqualified audit with funding in 2018-2019 financial year with the sole objective to improve their audit opinion to unqualified audit opinion with no findings, which is known as clean audit for the 2019-2020 financial year. We also be appointing financial experts to improve the audit outcome of 5 intervention municipalities, with the exemption of Msunduzi and Mpofana, which already have such experts. Expert resources have been drawn from the panel of the financial experts who are aiming to resolve all the audit queries and implement a robust internal control which will ensure the effective accounting, reporting, and enable municipalities to be proactive in attaining and sustaining clean audit. Under our unfunded budget, Mr. Chairperson, we've managed to reduce the number of municipalities with unfunded budget by 50%. Our assessment in 2019 had revealed that the 17 out of 54 municipalities had unfunded budget. Currently, 46 out of 54 municipalities have funded budget, and 8 municipalities with unfunded budget have financial recovery plans, which have been accepted by the National Treasurer. On the Masakane campaign, Mr. Chair, we have revived the Masakane campaign to appeal on the public to pay for the services. We are also making them aware of the non-payment for services lethal to municipalities. The campaign was launched in Uku district in November 2019 and was also rolled out in all the municipalities until the COVID-19 pandemic slowed the progress in March 2020. To date, all the district and municipalities debt books have been updated. Process to cleaning indigency registers and updating indigency policy is ongoing. No own CTW campaign, Mr. Our Know Your CTW campaign has been rolled out to all the districts. Through this campaign, we have formalized the social compact with the business community, civic society, the government against poverty and underdevelopment. Together, we have provided the relief to communities in distress. This has added meaning to the work of the CTWs who now walk through communities with confidence, knowing that they will be able to mobilize the support from the communities. And ESCOM debt, Mr. Chair, debts owed to ESCOM by the municipalities, including Newcastle, Mpofane, Inkosi Balele, Ulunda, Bakolosi, has been reduced as a result of payment plan which COGTA helped to negotiate between the owing municipalities and the power utility. On Operation Khawuleza, in response to the infrastructure maintenance backlog, we have rolled out the Operation Khawuleza, through which we have purchased 160 million worth of yellow plants equipment, including graders, water tankers, rollers, excavator, waste truck, honeysucker, and TNT, and other machines. Today, the total of 103 such items have been purchased and handed over to various districts. The program is ongoing, Mr. Chair, subject to the delay necessitated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The disaster management, we hosted the disaster management summit in Bellville in January 2020, which took a stock of the disaster that have been testing the capacity of disaster management structures. In addition, we have provided financial support to Ubuslebezu, Alfred Duma, Ilembe, Utukela for the construction of disaster management centers and procurement of equipment. These projects are being implemented subject to delay due to the COVID-19 pandemic. On the community service centers and traditional administration centers as the smart centers, Mr. Chair, we have been actively bringing services closer to the communities. Thus far, the president plan has been developed to inform the construction of a new community services centers in line with the provincial growth and development strategy. We are also proud to note that our province scooped the number of top awards at the National Two-Song Center Services Excellence Award. In addition, we are also forging ahead, ensuring that our CSC have Wi-Fi connection. On the municipality space and planning, Mr. Chair, with our technical and grant support, 98% of the KZN municipalities have updated their special development plan to ensure that they are compliant with the Special Planning and Land Use Management Act. During the past year, our municipalities' compliance with the wall-to-wall land use scheme has reached 35%, with another 10% due to finalize their scheme by July 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic caused delay, but we will continue to provide support, the necessary support from our side. On the assessment of the state of the institution of traditional leaders, we have assessed the functionality of 287 traditional councils in the province. The assessment focused on the execution of roles and functions and administrative capacity, state of physical resource, and intergovernmental relations. It highlighted the critical need in infrastructure, tools of trade, capacity building. We are now developing a support plan for each traditional council to provide the intervention towards the self-sustainability and competency. Now, updating on the family trees, to date we have managed to update 268 family trees of Imindeni Yobukosi. The outstanding 12 could not be completed due to dispute and other challenges. We'll continue to engage Amakosi to cooperate so that the outstanding family trees are also updated. On the traditional council election, Mr. Chair, in February 2020, we plan to host a reconstitution of traditional council, which include the elections of 40% of their membership. Due to administrative challenges, the election had to be postponed. Our plan now is to restart consultation with Amakosi and his magistrate and deliver the election during the 2020-21, subject to the COVID-19 development. We also have attended the outstanding issues raised, such as the payment of sitting allowance for 1,390 traditional council members, amounting to 1,245,000. The progress of payment of Zinduna, as indicated in the last budget speech, Mr. Chair, we collected all input regarding the payment of outstanding increment salaries for Zinduna. We also paid all Zinduna their outstanding increment. We continue to engage Zinduna leadership on the concern, which include the issue of back pay. We will be meeting the national government to agree on the way forward in this regard, Mr. Chair. focus on the progress finding from the local government assessment, Madam Mr. Chairperson, you will be aware that shortly after 2019 provincial election, we conducted a local government assessment on the unprecedented scale in all 54 municipalities in this province. In our last budget speech, we made a number of specific commitments in respect of the in the respect of our findings. We are now reporting on our progress in this regard. Oversight structures, our assessment have revealed that 15 municipalities had poorly functioning council, 12 municipalities had poorly functioning executive committees, and 20 municipalities had poorly functioning public account committees. Currently, 52 municipalities have functional council, functioning ESCOs. Support has been provided in all 20 municipalities with poorly functioning MPEG. The rest of the oversight structures throughout the province are generally functional. Council and municipal office bearer vacancies. All mayors' vacancies have been filled, with the exception of KwaZulu-Natal and Abaqolosi municipalities. All the deputy mayors, the speaker, the ward councillors, and the PR councillor vacancies have been filled in the 37 municipalities that reported such vacancies during the last year's assessment. Filling the vacant posts in municipalities, Mr. Chairperson, the current vacancy rate at senior management level in municipalities is 16.7%. This includes the 6 municipal managers and the 9 CFO positions. We urge municipalities to expedite the filling of these vacancies. We also support municipalities with the standard anti-fraud and anti-corruption strategy, the objective of which is to create a culture which discourages unethical conduct, fraud, and corruption. Challenge with implementation of table forensic report. The focus on implementation of recommendation of all forensic reports has intensified, and step now will be taken against those municipalities that fail to implement the findings of the forensic report. We have made recommendations to the national government for legislative reform to strengthening the provision of Section 106 of the Municipal Systems Act. We have published in November 2019 and the notice in terms of the Section 105 of Systems Act to compel municipalities to report on the action taken. Participation of traditional leaders in municipal council. Although the number of municipalities which enjoy 80% and above attendance of traditional leaders at the meeting has increased to 20, there remains much room for improvement. All the municipalities with poor attendance of traditional leaders at council meetings have been engaged on participation enhancement measures. Similarly, all participating traditional leaders who were identified as not attending council meetings have been met and given opportunity to inform us about their reasons. 2020-21 budget in the white policy contest, Mr. Chair, even we build this solid achievement to return our local government to normality amid the COVID-19 pandemic. We continue to bring about universal access to basic services, more and better infrastructure, improve audit in all municipalities by the end of this term of office. We also further into the future with 2 tangible goals in mind. In order to make this budget a people-centered as possible, we have gone out of our way to solicit the public input for the initiative we will undertake in 2020 financial year. For this purpose, we employed a variety of platforms to invite suggestions from the public, and the response has been overwhelming. We wish to thank everyone who took their time to contribute to this ongoing process. We want to assure everyone that their opinion matters. We are guided by our government medium-term strategy framework 2019-2024, which also outlined the 5-year perspective for COGTA. The MTSF identified the task improving the quality of public service, which will strengthening the ability of local government to fulfill the development role in our community. In line with the Honorable Premier Zigalala 2020 State of the Province Address in 2020-2021, we will B, focusing on building a capable, ethical, and developmental state as designated priority for KZN for this period. In the added context of the COVID-19 pandemic, we will focus on the capacity building both internally as department and externally, referring to municipalities and traditional institutions. The ethical part of this priority refers to strengthening our framework that ensure clean governance. Central to achieving the 7 MTSF a priority in the future COVID-19 free KZN is improved cooperative among all government structures to address the fragmented approach to planning, implementation, and government. Cabinet has approved the district development model to enhance the cooperative governance system. The model seeks to facilitate a joint planning, budgeting, implementation, as well as monitoring and evaluation among all spheres of government. In 2020-21, as we emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic, our focus will be on building a capacity and competency to drive the agenda of the current administration through various interventions, such as the plan organization functionality assessment. Through it, we will assess the competency of management with the intention to refer for training where deficiencies are identified in line with the set of skills required for us to successfully impact on the system of local government and set the priorities. The MTSF further identified the following group as a priority for the 6th administration: women, youth, and people living with disability. In this regard, Mr. Chair, our budget provides a capacity building and a job creation for this designated group, a commitment to set aside 35% of the departmental procurement budget for women entrepreneurs, youth, people with disability will be honored. Specific pronouncement for 2020-21 in support of the MTS goal on ongoing COVID-19, Mr. Chair, since the identification of South African first case of COVID-19, which was reported in KZN on the 5th of March 2020, the provincial COVID-19 response plan has been developed. The Provincial Disaster Management Center, along with the District and the Metro Disaster Operations Center, have been activated to coordinate with the National Nerve Center. In addition to identification of quarantine and isolation sites, and homeless shelters have been supported municipalities in their provision of basic services. We have been supporting municipalities with cleaning of public space in partnership with programs such as the Peter Lupim. We have also participated in municipalities' COVID-19 awareness campaign, distribution of hand sanitizers to ensure municipal funding for COVID-19 related initiatives. We have facilitated the settlement of government debts owed to municipalities. We have also supported municipalities with revising their 2020-2021 budget to include the COVID-19 allocation and cost containment measures. The impact of COVID-19 has hit our economy hard, both informally and informal sector. We have provided support to municipalities, ensuring that informal traders in particular do receive relief as per the pronouncement made by the national government. With our support, municipalities have been able to grant a special permit to sponsor tax shop to ensure that they're able to access funds through the relevant banking institution. On post-COVID-19 intervention, based on our day-to-day experience in dealing with COVID-19 pandemic as it has unfolded in the context of KZN municipalities, we have, as a department, formulated the recovery plan to support the recovery of local government post-lockdown. It is based on the 5 pillars, namely governance, finance, basic service delivery, performance management, and the district development model. We are engaging with all 54 municipalities in the province to develop their own customized post-lockdown recovery plan to mitigate the possibility that many local industries might close down post-COVID-19. The ensuing job losses, municipalities will be supported with infrastructure development and measures to support surviving industries, attracting investment, reducing the red tape. We'll also supporting municipalities in reviewing their informal economy policy. We also facilitate completion of infrastructure projects in our CSC. The skills audit, Mr. Chair, we have conducted the province-wide. We have conducted the province-wide skills audit of official in KZN municipalities. The total number of officials audited to date in municipalities in 10,099. 60 officials were trained in various municipalities on the use of gap skills audit system. Municipalities are now able to conduct their own skills audit to fast-track the required training intervention. The remaining 36,772 employees will be audited in the 45 municipalities in the next 2 years using the 60 trained officials. On institutional capacity, Mr. Chairperson, 2021 being defined in the need created in a capable, ethical, and developmental state, there is a need to reconfigure KwaZulu-Natal working arrangement to enhance the responsibility of coordination within and outside the department. In practice, it means that we need to build both internally and externally capacity. On the competency assessment, Mr. Chair, in order to address the gap identified in the competency assessment of municipal managers and senior managers in February 2020, we embarked on the rollout of the National School of Governance and Mandatory Training Program. The training program will include KwaZulu training, evidence-based policy making, executive coaching for leadership and development, and the online ethics program. Capacity building targets, Mr. Chairperson, we are now prioritizing the implementation of the National Certificate Local Government Practice for 2020-2021, which aims to capacitate 300 councillors on finance, budgeting, and technical skills. Key service delivery activities for 2020-21 include that the skills audits are conducted in all municipalities and the continued coordination of capacity building in the province through the provincial capacity coordinating monitoring committee and support to municipalities. On municipal oversight structures, on capacity is not only for 2021, we have adopted this approach in rolling out tech workshop where there is a partnership between the Office of the Auditor General, Provincial Treasurer, and SACA. This team provides a multi-pronged approach to impact workshop with the aim of vigorously equipping these structures with skills they effectively conduct oversight. On the the road model, which was launched in KZN last year, 2019, by the President, it is now being implemented intergovernmental relations and integrated budgeting and implementation among the three spheres. It also simplifies the operations to a approach to ensure that citizens are ahead and their needs will play a key role in bringing this approach to life. Key to this is from in which all stakeholders participate today. District KZN district has been evaluated by KwaZulu-Natal each district stakeholders with the view to find a project joint which can to partake is in the district development model. On the municipal support plan, the report on the state of local government in KZN have really revealed on our blind spot, and we are determined to close the gap. In response to this, we have developed 54 municipal support plans, which was adopted by all the parties. Implementation is now being monitored at a business center to meet fortnight and through the water performance review, where KwaZulu also visit municipalities to verify progress. We continue include people prescribed by the PSA to 24 months interns recruited in line with the list out. We have achieved the staff establishment of 2.01% filled with people with disabilities, 2% target. We'll keep monitoring and performance because we don't want to reverse from this target. On 2021, Mr. Chairman will continue with the graduate internship program that will with
Honorable MEC, Honorable MEC, Honorable MEC.
Yes, sir.
The connection,
Yes, yes.
the connection on your side in Ndlovu is getting worse. If when you are done currently, if they can just try to fix some of the issues, there are a lot of glitches. It started slowly, but now it's getting worse and worse. So I've spoken to your technical staff as well to do something. If you can try to maintain that position and push.
Is it fine now?
It's better now. So I don't know as you continue what is going to happen, because what we could do as well, we can try a minute. You switch off your camera, you move a bit, and we try that position if they can do that. But let's try and push and check, because at least you were audible most of the time and we have pushed. So yeah, let's try.
Okay. No, thanks, Chair. I will try, and then you will indicate if there are still some challenges.
It's better now. Proceed. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. On the local government toolkit, as part of strengthening the policy and environment in municipalities, we have drafted a consolidated local government toolkit. It purposes to provide a package of municipal policies, processes, and procedures to be adopted by the municipalities. The toolkit promotes uniformity, improves norms and standards in respect of the municipal policy environment, and professionalizes local government in KZN. In supporting specific municipalities in 2020-21, Mr. Chair, Section 154 of the Constitution of the Republic instructs us who will, in 2020-21, provide support to all 54 municipalities in KZN, while we, in response to specific challenges forecast on the 8 municipalities whose intervention were extended by 6 months at the end of March 2020, namely Umsunduzi, Mzinyathi, Richmond, Mtobatoba, Inkosila Ngalbalela, Abaqulusi, uThukela, and Nimbofana. We would ideally like to close all intervention before 2021 local government election and continue to support the municipalities in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution, subject to their compliance with the terms and conditions by the administrator. The further approach to municipal intervention, Mr. Chair, based on the unsatisfactory record, Section 139 intervention in municipalities, going forward, any municipality display consistent instability will receive service delivery war room. This will strengthening our Section 154 of the Constitution oversight role in municipalities, but also provide platform for stakeholders to engage on the matters of concern to municipalities. Newcastle, Ladysmith, and other municipalities in recent months, Newcastle and Ladysmith and other municipalities have witnessed localized protest action that has, in some cases, paralyzed the entire municipalities. In response, we have dispatched our rapid response unit to liaise with the management of the affected municipalities, as well as aggrieved stakeholders. In the plan for eThekwini Metro, Mr. Chairperson, in 2020-21, We anticipate that the eThekwini Metro will continue on its path to stability in administration and governance and improving performance, especially the matters raised by the Auditor General, who will support the Metro's integrated planning process, especially the catalytic infrastructure project. We do expect eThekwini to finalize the implementation of their insourcing strategy. The progress in Uku, Mr. Chair, we have allocated the amount of 20 million to alleviate Uku water scarcity, and 92 static tanks have already been delivered. We have also allocated 1.3 million to upgrade the water pumps at Ifafa, 14.5 million for Mtavuna's raw water pump station and water treatment work, and 2.7 million for temporary bridge across Umzimkhulu River. Uku has also supplied with 2 water tankers, honeysuckers, and other yellow plants. The consequence management in municipalities, there will be a renewed focus on consequence management in municipalities. Breach of code of conduct will be investigated, and sanction will be applied where necessary. Speakers will manage the process, which will contribute to stability in the council. Consequence management will apply to poor performance, breach of code of conduct for officials, negative findings in investigation report, and contravention of Municipal Financial Management Act. 2021 local government election, Mr. Chairperson, the upcoming local government election scheduled for 2021, what delimitation is currently being undertaken by the Municipal Demarcation Board. Draft what will soon be published for comments and or objections. Thereafter, the Independent Electoral Commission will commence with preparation for election. Communities across KZN are urged to participate in the ward delimitation process and ensure that they are registered to vote in the upcoming local government elections. Mr. Chairperson, the infrastructure assessment in KZN municipalities, we have conducted an assessment infrastructure in all 54 municipalities. It will be finalized in June 2020, and its funding will inform the location and the cost of repairs to broken infrastructure. In 2020-2021, we'll be sharing this information with municipalities to assist with their planning, budgeting, and implementation. We'll also be enforcing the 8% allocation in municipal budget for infrastructure and motivate the ring fencing of portion for the conditional grant funding for maintenance. On the provincial water master plan, water is one of the key priorities of the 6th administration. We have established a water expert task team. Similarly, the provincial crack team comprising of COGTA and provincial treasurer in monitoring water master planning implementation of project. We had a water summit on the 22nd November 2019, where we directed the provincial water master plan be developed by July 2020. We should reflect on the state of water provision in all wards, future intervention, as well as immediate ones. On the water infrastructure intervention, Mr. Chairperson, Okopelo from Umvoti, Manata from Beckville, who wrote to us on Facebook, have alerted us to specific water-related needs of their communities. Their input will be treated as a matter of priority. We are currently leading implementation the KZN accelerated water program. It targets 7 districts, namely Uku, Uthukela, Mzinyata, Majuba, Zululand, Mkhanyakude, and Herikwala, at a total cost of 84,095,000 rand. Establishment of program management unit, Mr. Chair, who are witnesses underspending of conditional grant due to poor planning, which are determined to arrest through the consequence management. In 2020-21, we will streamline the coordination of all conditional grant spending by the municipality through the newly formed program management unit. This unit will assist municipalities with better planning, timely implementation of projects, with improving the living condition of communities through the job creation. On the special equity and land use management in municipalities, our key tool for achieving special equity in KZN, a provincial special development framework, which will be finalized in 2020-21, will introduce a special equity geographical information system that will assist the government in planning, coordinating, and directing its investment and monitoring its adherence to an agreed plan and priorities. On managing disaster, Mr. Chairperson, we will strengthen the capacity on fire and rescue services in KZN, will fast-track the completion of the Emergency Management Center of Obuhlebe at Obuhlebe municipality, and monitor the construction of fire station at Alfred municipality, as well as deliver of the firefighting equipment for Ilembe and Utugela district. In 2020-21, we will proceed with the installation of integrated communication system, the provision of resources to Amakosi. We are finalizing the revision of 8 community services centers project in improving the working condition for Amakosi, while the further 6 projects are at a site handover stage. The projects are located at Umzombe, Umshwati, Nkosazana Dlamini, Zuma, Umlalazi, Ngutu, eThekwini. The 12 CSCs have free Wi-Fi access and 13 computer telecenters. On the rural local economic development program, Mr. Chairperson, we are partnering with strategic stakeholders, including the Small Enterprise Development Agency, to assist with technical and governance support to our district development agency. Part of this initiative is the deployment of resources, including field experts. In 2020-21, 13 million will be allocated for this purpose. On the dispute and improving process of the recognition of Amakosi, the Honorable Premier is appointing a commission on the traditional leadership at dispute and claims to finalize the dispute and the claims not finalized by the National Commission, which ceased to exist in December 2017. The new commission is to ensure that all the disputes and the claims are handled to create a certainty to affected families and communities. In implementation of Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act, in late 2019, the President of the Republic assessed the National Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act, which seek to introduce changes in the legal environment affecting the traditional leaders. It aims features is recognition of Khoisan communities, which will initially happen at the national level by the Minister through the Commission. Mr. Chairperson, the budget program of the department is our key pronouncement will be funded as follows. On program 1 under administration will be allocated 444,776,000. Program 2 local government with allocation of 368,097,000 will be utilized to support and stabilize the sphere of local government based on our assessment of the state of governance and finance and service delivery at the start of the 6th administration. Program 3, development planning with the allocation of 486,722,000 will focus on local government development that strive for the sustainability of local government through the development of local economic job creation, infrastructure delivery, particularly on the water and the spatial development. Program 4 on traditional affairs will be allocated 580,151 million, will provide a wide-ranging support on the institution of traditional leadership. Mr. Chairperson, the overall budget for the department is 1,879,146 million. In conclusion, Mr. Chairperson, it is an exaggeration that the COVID-19 pandemic has stretched our capacity as a department to the limit. When I think about the work of COGTA during this crisis, I'm mindful of one thing. Wherever we do and we achieve, we are doing it and achieving as a team. This is a team that includes the management of staff of COGTA, ngaphansi kwababa uThando Tubane, uHOD, uMaspala, amakhosi asendlunkulu, and the portfolio of our COGTA elidwa umhlonishwa ubaba uMvelase. Our sincere thanks go to all of them individually and collectively. My personal thanks also go to my movement, the African National Congress, for the trust it has placed in me to manage this important portfolio. The last but not least, Mr. Chairperson, the special thanks go to my dear wife and my children and my whole extended family for their unwavering support and understanding. As we fight the COVID-19 pandemic and prepare to provide post-COVID-19 support to municipalities and the traditional institutions and implement the medium-term strategic framework, we will also continue to create a capable, ethical, and developmental state in 2020-2021 financial year and beyond. We are now clearly defined goals, and now we want to implement them. Let us continue in fighting COVID-19 pandemic in KZN with a capable, ethical, and developmental local government. Mr. Chairperson, we hereby table the budget for vote level, cooperative governance, and traditional affairs for 2020-2021 financial year. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC Hlomuga. I think we are streaming online. Those who are watching at home, it was clear. The strategy was galvanized nicely to be presented by the MEC. Thank you so much. In our midst, we have MEC Etia, the leader of government business, Honorable Dube Ngube. Thank you so much. We have Chair of Chairs, Honorable Mtembu. We have the Deputy Chair. So far, so good in terms of time. Honorable MEC, well presented. Presentation was, you only exceeded with a minute, so we're not going to jeopardize by taking that minute anyway. So you were well on time. It was well rehearsed. Thank you so much. Let us proceed and afford Honorable N.R. Mtembu for 10 minutes. Mr. Mvula, the platform is yours.
Thanks very much, Honorable Chairperson. Let me take the opportunity and greet all members of the Executive Council and also the members of the Portfolio Committee, the Premier, the leader of the Provincial Traditional House, Nkosi Chiliza, the staff of the legislature, all structures of the legislature. Thanks very much for affording me this opportunity to table a summary of the committee deliberations on the 2021 budget. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs presented its 2020-21 budget and annual performance plan, APP, at numerous meetings of COGTA Portfolio Committee. All those meetings, the committee interrogated the budget and the APP of the department. Several amendments were proposed by the committee, especially on APP, and those amendments were included in the final APP. The Portfolio Committee held its interactive sessions with the public and stakeholders on the proposed budgets as required by the sector oversight model. The interactive session with the public and the stakeholders was held on the 5th of December 2019 at Mkhanyakude District Municipality Council Chamber, even though this meeting was not attended by most public stakeholders. But the stakeholders that were attended made meaningful contribution to the draft budget and the APP. I must pause the chair and say that we have noted as a committee the disintegration or non-cooperation between the spheres of government. When we hold these public meetings, the intention is to ensure that public participation take place. We want the House to note that we need to deal with the issue of the attitude between the municipalities, where structures like COGTA, when they come to municipalities and they take it negative as if we are there to interrogate, even when we are there to work as a sphere that is supposed to work with the sphere at a local government. So we need to correct some of those things. The meeting to consider the budget and the APP proposal by the department was held on the 20 March 2020, shortly after the finance budget hearings held on the 17 March 2020. At both these engagements, the committee had an opportunity to cross-examine the 2020-19 realized. The department the 20 performance and policies to the 7 priorities MTSF, which is to align to the 2030 NDP. All above mentioned documents were reported to have been aligned to the MTSF, with the exception of the departmental operational plan policies. The portfolio committee was very pleased that the department reported its key intervention contained in 2020-2021 APP, responding to priorities in 2020-25 strategic plan by consisting. It was noted that the new framework for strategic plan and APP has shifted from the goal allow the robust engagement with the department, and the committee commends the department for transparency in its budget process, noted and worth mentioning to this House are as follows. Alternative water provision interventions program implemented to the budget amount of 60 million. Electricity provision such as 450 households electrified through grid connection to total budget amount of 32.416 million. Maintenance of 500 unemployed youth internship program opportunities for graduates in municipalities to the budget of amount of 30 million. The portfolio committee noted that department is allocated 1.8 billion rand, in the 2020-21 financial year to deliver on its mandate. This shows a very minimal increase as allocated as an allocation of the 2019-2020, which was 1.8 billion. The financial allocation per program was reported to be as follows. Program 1 to receive 444.1 million. Program 2 was allocated 368.097 million. Program 3 allocated 486.722 million. Program 4 to be allocated 580.151 million. The committee noted that the department budget shows a steady increase over the 2020-2021 MEFT, mainly due to inflationary inflation increment. The portfolio committee has also noted with understanding that the department had its budget cut by an amount of 23.905 million across all programs. The department reported of 10.866 million affected against goods and services resulted in the decrease in the massification and small town rehabilitation program. However, the committee is pleased that the department has since prioritized funds to the various service delivery projects such as water sanitation, electrification projects, which were negatively affected by the budget cuts under the massification and small town rehabilitation program within the various affected communities. The department has indicated that the budget cuts will affect the filling of critical vacant posts. Despite these budget cuts of 13.039 million, the department has brought to the attention of the committee the department has brought to the attention of the committee that it will ensure that the targets are going to be met under this difficult budget situation. Chair, the portfolio committee has committed itself that it will play a robust oversight over the issues of filling of critical vacant posts by the department, noting all priorities presented by the Department of COGTA. The portfolio committee has indicated in fulfilling its constitutional mandate, legislative mandate through the application of sector oversight model, where it will monitor. Sorry, technology is trying to deal with me now. Sorry, the portfolio committee has indicated that
2 minutes, Chair.
Two
We still
minutes.
have 2 minutes. Yeah, we still have 2 minutes.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you, Chair. The portfolio committee noted with consent the decrease in the APWP grant allocation to 2.77 million in 2020-21 from the 3.858 million received in 2019-2020 due to budget cuts. This is of a great concern to the committee, as this grant is a vehicle for a job creation in our communities and benefit the neediest community members. The committee has concerned that during the 2019-2020 adjustment budget, the Department of KwaZulu-Natal transfer the amount of 4 million to the Office of the Premier. This was initially intended for community service centers. This amount of 4 million was suspended from the department budget in respect of infrastructure work to be done or to be undertaken regarding His Majesty the King Palace. This committee was not satisfied. The Department of KwaZulu-Natal had to service level agreement in existence to support the transfer and suspension of 4 million from the budget. The committee noted a decreased amount of 12.050 million in 2019-2020 budget appropriation due to show progress in the construction and refurbishment of community service centers resulting from the delay in the SCM process. The Department of KwaZulu-Natal has committed itself that in 2020-2021 financial year, it will fast-track spending on the CSC. This will be monitored closely by the committee. This was compared by a shift of 7 million to transfer and subsidize to province municipal, which was the Mapumulo municipality in relation to the Mvozane CSC. The committee is concerned that the project has not started while the beneficiaries are waiting for the reconstruction of the CSC, which was damaged during the flood disaster. Another issue that the department reported during the budget hearings, that the Department Development Trust has been appointed and implemented agents of all capital infrastructure except for 12 rehabilitation projects relating to disaster, of which that is a concern from the committee as the standing in public works pending. Thank you very much, Chair. Let me thank the MEC and his team to doing and being transparency. Thank the committee for ensuring that they provided oversight. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Ungikhathile wena wathi wafika nqamula kanti uzophinda uthatha isikhathi.
Ngoze omkhulu wena sekukuneza isikhathi manje futhi usizokethuza la. Kulungile. Thank you so much. Wena waseqhudeni siyabonga. The next member from the ANC to start the debate, Honorable M. Govender, for 11 minutes. The podium is all yours, Honorable Govender.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson. We are meeting during National Child Protection Week, so let us all ensure that our children are kept safe and are protected as far as is possible from abuse and hardship. And this is, however, easier said than done, as there are a variety of challenges confronting society today, the most notable being the COVID-19 pandemic. There's currently a huge debate raging in the country about our children going back to school. Parents are understandably worried about the well-being of their children. Teachers are concerned about their own safety, and the children, well, those voices have not been heard. So the matter is one that calls for our collective wisdom, and I'm sure we shall all find a way. Today is also World Environment Day, and again the coronavirus has alerted us to the damage that we have wreaked on our world. The unintended benefit of lockdowns in places such as India and China, and even here locally, has been that due to the reduced use of motor vehicles, public transport, etc., the air is much cleaner. People have even been able to view the Himalayas from a distance for the first time in many, many years. This virus, bad as it is also alerting us to what we have done to our environment, and in a sense, it is forcing us to review our actions. Honorable Chairperson, as we meet today in the time of Corona, much is being said and opined by newfound coronavirus experts. However, let it be placed on record that our government has prioritized people's lives and is working flat out to control the curve in terms of the rate of infection. And it is by no means an easy task. Yesterday, on the 71st day of the national lockdown, we had over 40,000 cases of infection, 3,267 new cases, which is almost double that of the previous day, and 848 deaths. And yet this lockdown started just 2.5 months ago with around 250 cases and 1 death. However, the rate of spread of infection in our country is far lower than many other countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and the like. And we must attribute that to the leadership shown by our president and government. Yes, things are not perfect, but to be human is to err. The fact of the matter is that the coronavirus pandemic in our country is and has been well managed, and we have all been benefiting from that. There are court cases, and as our president has said, we are a democratic country. Some of our people have fought hard for the democracy, and everyone has a right to challenge things. What we cannot countenance is when people start attempting to negate and underplay sterling work that has been done. And for that, we must thank for the work that has been done. We must also thank our frontline health workers and others who have been putting people's lives first and the safety of our people first. Honourable Chairperson, let me now move on to my area of focus for this debate. As we know, KwaZulu-Natal has 4 programs, and I will be focusing on Program 2, Local Governance. This program consists of 5 sub-programs, and the purpose of the program is to coordinate, support, promote, and enhance good governance, administration, and public participation in local government. This program's allocation was reduced over the MTF against the compensation of employees. And it is a long concern, Honourable Chairperson, that this department has had numerous vacant posts, which accounts for some of its under-expenditure. And the explanation that we have received is that time after time, the department's organizational structure is being reviewed and approval is being sought to proceed with the revised organizational structure. But this explanation has worn thin, as we have heard it far too often, and the Department of Public Service and Administration has given partial approval. It's not surprising then that the department's compensation of employees' budget has taken a hit, because chickens have come home to roost, and the department will now have to tell us how it intends to continue to fulfill its mandate in the absence of needed warm bodies or in the delay of the employment of such. The program reflects good growth over the MTF. There have been fairly minimal cuts, and its budget provides for the filling of 8 vacant posts. But however, budget cuts that were affected against compensation of employees will affect the filling of some of the critical vacant posts, such as the municipal performance specialists, because there will be delays. Included in the baseline of the budget is the National Treasury's allocation for strengthening the province's support interventions in municipalities that have been placed under administration, as the Honourable MEC has alluded to. Honourable Chairperson, there have been far too many municipalities in the province that have over time been placed under intervention. There were around about 9 or 10 in 1819 at the last count. One of them has had the intervention lifted, and we are told that the 9 others, in the case of the 9 others, it is continued. We do, however, notice the great progress that the department has made in getting these municipalities onto closer towards standing on their own feet. But there is much work that still needs to be done. We want to urge KwaZulu-Natal to ensure that when the period of intervention has ended, municipalities are left on a stronger and sustainable footing. We don't want KwaZulu-Natal to withdraw its intervention and support and find that the initiative collapses once the support is withdrawn. They must be able to stand on their own feet rather than to be left limping along and forever in need of some crutch or the other. Honourable Chairperson, let me now move to the sub-programs, because this is where the implementation takes place. Municipal administration provides oversight and functionality of intergovernmental structures, such as the MINMEC, MUNIMEC, etc. It also looks at the enforcement of legislation and policy in local government and the implementation of integrity management programs in municipalities. Here again, the MTF allocations have provided for funds reprioritized and funds allocated by National Treasury in 1920, would carry through to strengthen the province's support interventions in municipalities. Inflationary increments are also catered for, and the budget cuts affected against this sub-program were against the compensation of employees, but will not really have an impact on service delivery as they are minimal. Municipal Finance is a very important sub-program. It includes Operation Clean Audit and special interventions such as financial interventions in affected municipalities. Honourable Chairperson, given the dire financial state that many of our municipalities in the province find themselves, it's clear that much needs to be done in this regard. So this program clearly has its work cut out. It also assists with attending to irregular and wasteful expenditure and audit outcomes of the municipalities. The Honourable MEC has outlined measures to be taken in this regard, and we look forward to improved municipal audit outcomes in the province. The sub-program Public Participation provides for tools of trade, travel and subsistence, etc. for community development workers to improve their work and reporting. And we think that this is very important because community development workers are, in a sense, foot soldiers on the ground. And in the period of the COVID pandemic, I think their role becomes even more important because they are the ones in close contact with the communities. The START program also provides for the deployment of skilled professionals and administrators in municipalities, and it also provides support to a very, very crucial program, Operation Suguma Sake, which assists in addressing service delivery needs of communities, particularly communities in remote and rural areas. And this support is really required. It is the Operation Suguma Sake program that is going to identify those most in need of assistance and support during this COVID-19 period. This program also provides for various outreach programs and public participation projects in municipalities. Honourable Chairperson, we must note that given the COVID-19 pandemic regulations, most of which are necessary for the safety of all citizens, most of these kinds of projects will not come to fruition, and the department is then advised to reprioritize funds allocated to them so that they can be put to good use. It will require creativity and innovation to come up with ways of engaging in community outreach and public participation programs in this period of COVID-19, but I am certain that the department will rise to the challenge. The main function of the sub-program capacity development is to ensure the development and implementation of a comprehensive capacity building strategy for local government and traditional institutions. Now, we all know that one of the biggest problems in local government is the shortage of competent staff to staff crucial positions. In this regard, the skills audit conducted by COGTA is most welcome, and we urge the department to act upon the outcomes of this audit so that competent people are occupying key positions and the performance at local government is improved. Because there is a serious injection of skills that is required in this sphere of government. This program also caters for accredited councillor training, capacity building and the like, and it has minimal budget cuts over the MTF. The sub-program Municipal Performance Monitoring, Reporting and Evaluation relates to strategic planning support to municipalities, and it focuses on development planning, capacity building, the review and development of IDPs in various municipalities. And the allocations made over the MTF are to support municipalities to improve their standards of service delivery and governance through the Municipal Service Awards, travel and subsistence costs, and inflationary increments. This program has a substantial increase over the MTF due to anticipated increased support to municipalities through capacity building sessions, workshops, and the like. Furthermore, IDP coordination has been moved into this program, resulting in further increases, despite there being reprioritization and overall budget cuts. Honourable Chairperson, the department transfers large sums of money to municipalities for various projects, and quite often These funds are not used for the purpose intended or not spent for a variety of reasons. We want the department to ensure that funds transferred to municipalities are closely monitored and tracked. For example, the accelerated water program in Kanya, which is to be undertaken by the Umhlatuze Water Board, was funded by a ship within the program. We want to know what has happened to this program. Similarly, the funds transferred to Abakulusi. Honorable Chairperson, these are just a few examples of where funds have been transferred for specific purposes, and we need accountability. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson, the ANC supports this budget. Let me remind all of us that COGTA has an important role to play in supporting and working with municipalities in the province. Today, Honorable Chair, you will note that I am attired in black. This is not only due to my deference to this House, but is also due to my supporting the National Anti-Racism Campaign that has been kick-started in response to racist events such as the tragic murder of George Floyd. The scourge of racism is indeed very much alive and kicking. Honorable Chairperson, I'd like all of us to wear black every Friday for the next 3 weeks. Honorable Chairperson, the ANC supports this budget. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Governor. We support the struggle of Americans. It is our struggle. Let's proceed for 10 minutes from the IFP. Honorable OP Gunene Mtimande, the platform is all yours.
Honorable Chairperson Mtombeni, Honorable MECs, Nkosi Qhiliza, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Official Opposition, and Honorable Members. I don't know whether I was checking whether I'm audible.
Yes,
Honorable Chairperson.
You are audible. You are.
Thank you. Honorable Chairperson, my political mentor, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, always says, I quote, "Perception is important in politics," close quote. I begin with these wise words because I want to preface my debate by highlighting that in the eyes of the electorate and in the eyes of many citizens of our country, local government is a sphere where poor service delivery is the order of the day. There's a perception in the eyes of many of our people that corruption is endemic within local government, that political patronage is rife, that people are not employed unless they produce a membership card of a political party, or in order for them to get assistance from the municipality, they have to show political allegiance to the party that is in power in that municipality. This extended to the distribution of food parcels during the COVID-19 period, which has engulfed our country as we speak. There's a perception that before you get a tender, you must be prepared to pay a bribe to a municipal official or to some councillors in that municipality. This also sadly happens in other spheres of government. There is a perception, Honorable Chairperson, that municipalities do not budget for operation and maintenance of infrastructure. As a result, a lot of infrastructure breaks down and cannot render the service they are meant to. Municipal vehicles break down and they are not available to render the services they have to render because of mechanical breakdown. There is a need, Honorable MEC, for an urgent turnaround to this situation. Our people who reside in rural parts of our municipalities have to live under unbearable conditions where they have no access to drinking water. There is poor sanitation in the majority of households. It is almost 2 decades since the democratic system of government was introduced in the local government sphere. By this time, processes and systems within local government sphere should have been perfected to enable ratepayers and residents of all municipalities to enjoy the democracy that was ushered in our country when they cast their votes for democracy in 1994. Our people deserve functional local government. They deserve local government that is responsive to their needs. Our people deserve municipal officials who are committed to serve them, officials who are professionals in their areas of expertise and who will utilize their skills to oil the machinery of local government so that our people enjoy the fruit of their labor, since they fought so hard to attain a democratic dispensation in our country. Our people deserve councillors who will be the real servants of the people, councillors who will put the interest of our people before their own. Our people deserve councillors who will meet regularly with the electorate in order to give them feedback on programs that the local government implements, and also to hear their concerns about the way municipalities within which they reside operate. Public participation is mandatory in terms of our constitutional disposition, but many municipalities are found wanting because they've not perfected their systems and processes of consulting with our people as they go about rendering the services to our people. The local government sphere is a very important sphere for service delivery. It is a sphere that is closest to the people. Because of this, it is important that local government in our province should render the services to the people of our country in order to ensure that they get the service delivery they are entitled to in terms of powers and functions of municipalities within our province and our country at large. It is a matter of serious concern when you visit or pass different cities or towns and rural parts of our country. You come across poor drainage systems on the road with litter all over the place and poor drainage systems during rainy seasons. If you visit taxi ranks in many cities or towns within our province, you encounter filthy and unhygienic toilets in some cities and towns. Informal trading takes place in a haphazard and disorganized fashion. These are lived realities which our people have to face day in and day out. It is important then that when KwaZulu-Natal exercises its oversight role over municipalities within our province, that it ensures that these concerns are attended to. According to the Minister of Finance in his 2020 budget speech of 20 February this year, over the next 3 years, 48.2% of the nationally raised funds are allocated to the national government, 43% to the provincial government, and 8.8% to local government, which amounts to 426 billion rand from the nationally raised funds over the MTEF. That is an amount of money that is received by this sector, and it is important, therefore, that things are turned around. There are unsatisfactory audit reports in many municipalities within our province, which worry us a lot. They show that our municipalities have regressed in the manner they utilize public funds, with only one municipality within our province having received a clean audit opinion from the Auditor General. It is sad to know that 14 of municipalities within our province have regressed, Honorable Chairperson. Only 5 improved, while clean audit opinions decreased from 6 to 1. The cause of this kind of unsatisfactory state of affairs is attributed to poor financial management, failure by management in these municipalities to prepare regular, accurate, and complete financial performance report supported by reliable information, lack of proper skills, poor leadership, fraud and corruption, and political infighting, including lack of proper internal financial controls. I was pleased to hear that the Honorable MEC alluded to some of these problems and actually proposed the solutions to solve them. It is important, Honorable MEC, that consequence management is applied against those who did not perform their duties as expected and those who are involved in corrupt activities. The IFP wishes that the reports of investigations that KwaZulu-Natal has conducted in municipalities within our province be submitted to the Portfolio Committee. These reports should include investigations that were conducted in the city of Mhlatuze, which was commissioned by the former Honorable MEC Dube Ncube in 2014, and all other investigation reports that were commissioned by the department. We as the IFP call upon the department to monitor whether municipalities within our province settle their debts to ESCOM. We were informed that municipalities owe ESCOM an amount of 26.4 billion as at September 2019. The IFP is concerned about the under-expenditure by municipalities of municipal infrastructure grants. We hope that, as the Honorable MEC did allude to this fact, this situation will be corrected. We also believe that in the past year, some municipalities failed to spend allocated funds for municipal assistance program, land use management, let's use management. Failure to utilize funds allocated robs our people of service delivery they so desperately need. In some instances, we as the IFP are concerned to know that some municipalities use funds earmarked for infrastructure development for the day-to-day operational requirements of these municipalities. Another matter of concern to us as the IFP Honorable MEC is the delivery of water services to residents of our town, cities and rural areas. In many cases, there are water disruptions because of aging infrastructure. Our rural communities live under very difficult conditions of being without water for many weeks on end. Our people in rural areas find themselves having to fetch water from filthy dams and rivers, where in many cases they share this water with animals, which is very unacceptable. Water is life, as we all know. Sanitation is dignity. Our people in rural areas have no proper toilets and their dignity, therefore, is trampled upon. The IFP is concerned about this situation, Honorable Chairperson. It is a shame that our people still live under these unacceptable conditions 26 years after democracy. We urge the department to expedite the process of the water backlog study it intended to undertake so that a comprehensive view of how big the problem of water supply is within our municipalities. Honorable Chairperson, we hope that this study will include sanitation backlog so that the concerns about sanitation can be resolved urgently. Can I pause for a year, Honorable Chairperson, and I'll come back. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I was still having grace because your time is just lapsed. Thank you so much, Honorable Dimando Mkhulu. The next member to partake in the debate from the DA is Honorable M. Tuli for 8 minutes. The platform is yours. Mpemba Kasompis.
Thank you, Chair. Can you see me? Chair?
Only hear you. Maybe somewhere in Zululand you don't have the access to video and stuff like that, but you are audible. You can proceed. I'm sure you are well prepared, but unfortunately, the computer is dealing or messing with you, so the DA must just give you some tricks.
I don't know what's happened because I can see myself, but it's not letting me come on.
Maybe it's a sabotage from Papas or Mayor.
Yeah, sabotage.
Sabotage. John Steenhuisen is dealing and messing with your system, is hacking it. We saw, but proceed.
John.
Okay, one.
Yes, you can proceed.
You can just go sleep, Mbali.
Jacob Zuma.
Please
Honorable
proceed.
Chair, I want to begin by stating that Black Lives Matter.
We don't need to hear you.
All around the world, we have seen protests rise up against the death of George Floyd, a death that has happened not only because America has a racist policeman in its service, but because people, Black people, are still fighting to be seen as human beings. At home, Lana, in South Africa, we have also seen our states killing its own people. Collins Kosa, Petrus Miggles, Sibusiso Amos, Nabani. I feel it's important that I start with this because we must take a stand wherever we can against the structural inequality that persists till today, designed to perpetuate the racism we see in our societies. Racism comes in many forms, but the one that is most damaging is the inability to access opportunities to make one's life better. This is compounded mengabe uhlupheka ngoba mengabe uhlupheka ugcina sengathi awubonwa umuntu awubona ngisho uhulumeni wakho. When you are poor, instead of getting more assistance and better services in KZN, it seems as though you get less services. It seems as though our province is going to be happy to continue to punish poor people for being poor. And that perpetuates the structural racism that has kept abantu abamnyama oppressed for so long. And whether by design or by neglect, our government is failing wonke umuntu in KZN, but abantu abamnyama in particular. And there is no department that can bear the brunt of that failure more than KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal remains a department that functions but has no leadership or ability to take tough decisions to rein in the rampant maladministration that is happening in this province. Sinomasipala water, osebenzayo. And nyaka nonyaka sitokho sikhuluma ngama-interventions azokwenzeka ukuthi ekwazi ukumisa i-regular expenditure, ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sibophe abantu abasuke betshontshe imali komasipala, but asiboni lutho ishintsho. Asake sizwe ngisho nangoyedwa umuntu okuthiwa uboshiwe, despite ukuthi ama-forensic reports siyakhokhela itshele mali, kodwa asiboni lutho kushintsha. Kulo nyaka we are presented with a budget that is significantly reduced by some 23 million, and isazoqhubeka ikhathwe because of our adjustments that have to be made. And those adjustments are not the citizens of KZN's fault, but because of our government that has brought us to our knees through their lack of unpreparedness. And manje, we have also been hit by a pandemic exacerbating the issue. This year alone, COGTA has allocated a budget of just over 18 billion. And despite serious challenges in local governance, this particular program is allocated the least amount of money. Local governance has just over 368 million, despite 32 of the 54 municipalities having been found to have serious performance management issues by Auditor General. Omasipala bethu failed to function, and besithemba ngempela ukuthi imali for le program ibizonyuka kulo nyaka njengoba na last year sasho ukuthi fanele inyuka, otherwise ngeke size sikwazi ukulindela ukuthi khona ushintsho luzokwenzeka. The DA is again suggesting ukuthi asinyuse imali kule program ukuthi sikwazi ukusiza omasipala, sikwazi ukuthi sibaqashele abantu abazokwazi ukuthi bezobasiza, abama-finance experts, abama-HR experts, abanama-financial management and planning qualifications, because kuyacaca ukuthi kumasipala bethu sinabantu abaningi abaqashiwe ukuthi abangakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi. Development and planning as a program should be spending its money to provide support to municipalities to develop plans for new towns and encourage growth. But you've actually driven around in KZN, you know Uguti, the small towns in this province are ghost towns. No one's going to invest there. So what is the money that COGTA is putting for development and planning actually doing? Because we are seeing no results or changes in these small towns. Disaster management here too has shown that the lack of leadership in COGTA has been terrible and unresponsive. Embarrassingly, the KZN DA had to ask National COGTA and the NCOP to intervene on a matter of Uku, which the DA has been raising for numerous years now. We had to get National to intervene in our own province's issue because COGTA couldn't respond. Last year's debate of the budget for COGTA, the DA cautioned like what seemed like inadequate financial planning and allocation to disaster management. We pushed to have more oversight of disaster management centers after the droughts and the fires and even the tornado that we had. Instead of planning to make sure that all those disaster management centers were equipped and well-staffed, COGTA yenzanga lutho. Manje sesihlezi nama-disaster management center angavuliwe, nganabantu abangazi kufanele benzeni, and we're in the middle of a disaster. COGTA has had to rely on the generosity of NGOs and the public and the private sector to do its work for it. And perhaps the MEC needs to consider that if COGTA can't do this core mandate, that it must just give the resources and outsource it to NGOs. COVID-19 has shown and exposed our inefficiencies as a department, but it's not for the first time. I think what's important with disaster management is that the KZN citizens need to know, where has all the money and grant funding for disaster management gone? Are we just always going to be hoping there's not going to be a disaster that strikes? Because that is how COGTA has planned for disaster management in this and last year's budget. I want to thank MEC Tlhomoro for taking the DA's suggestion to have an urgent skill audit of senior officials within the province's municipalities. We are happy that he has done this process, and we will appreciate if the MEC can give the portfolio committee the findings of this report. This is very important so that we know who we are dealing with and that they are able to be scrutinized. As the DA, we will be calling for individuals to be subpoenaed to appear before the province's COGTA portfolio committee, and we hope that the MEC will support this, because we really believe that people like the Umgeni municipal manager, Umamtembe Katsibane, needs to be questioned for some of the things that are happening in that municipality. But given that she is one of those who failed her pre-employment test, failed 12 out of the 15 assessment categories, particularly in planning and financial management, it would be important for us to really understand how somebody who fails a basic planning and financial management assessment can be employed as the accounting officer of the municipality. We'd also appreciate if the MEC could answer that too here in this debate, because the DA has asked numerous questions on this matter to the MEC's office, and we are still awaiting answers. I want to remind the MEC that not only does our provincial constitution and our legislature rule empower him to subpoena any individual, but our constitution demands it when oversight is required and intervention is needed. And I think given the state of KZN's municipality, it is very, very clear that oversight and intervention is desperately needed in our municipalities, and the MEC must empower himself and the committee to use this section of our powers and privileges in order to facilitate getting to the bottom of fixing KZN's municipalities.
I'm sure you can see us, Honorable Mpemba. Unfortunately, you've run out of time. Thank you so much for your presentation. The next member from EFF for 9 minutes, Honorable M.W. Twala. The platform is yours. Wanakam Nyamant, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. At the outset, one would like to greet the Honorable MEC for COGTA, the Chairperson, and the Honorable members of the COGTA Portfolio Committee. On the 25th of May, George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed for no other reason but being born in a black skin. He was added to the countless number of black people that continue to be terrorized by a perpetually racist anti-black America. George Floyd should not be dead, but he is. We stand in solidarity with all the revolt and resistance happening in the name of social justice. Like the youth of 1976, we celebrate this youth month, who were the first to declare a war against a racist white apartheid regime, a regime that killed, exploited, and forced black people, black South Africans into lives without dignity, basic services, and a humiliating existence. We celebrate this month as we remember the bravery and fearless resolve to take a stand. That is why we are unashamed to wish the EFF Student Command a happy 5th anniversary, taking the baton from the June 16 movement. We honor their dedication to ending the exploitation of workers in the institutions of higher learning, as well as confronting the racist exclusion of black child in the education center. It is because of these two generations that we cannot stomach the looting and failures of these departments to provide basic services to our people. Our people deserve better. The Office of COGTA as a department has failed dismally to put the people first, to coordinate, support, and enhance governance and administration in local government. We're in tatters as a province because ANC-led municipalities are run as weakly and with no direction. We cannot celebrate the budget apportioned to this office as long as it's in the hands of the incompetent and directionless officials, cadre deployees. The municipalities are suffering the most from a lazy, despondent, and irresponsible leadership because its leaders are born from factional deployment victories, not assessment of capacity. The COGTA committee should note the irregular expenditure, which is high from all the provinces in South Africa. We as KZN were on top of the list as per the report released by the AG November 2019. Much of this irregular expenditure emanates from the ANC-led municipalities, informed by weakness in the financial management, wish to urge the municipalities and their entities to comply with the regulations in order to reduce these high amounts amounting to 12.4 billion. Chair, such negligence should never surprise us in these municipalities, having appointed unqualified, inexperienced and incompetent cadres into highly responsible positions who account to no one but themselves. When accountability is sacrificed in the altar of political expediency, the end result will be poor service delivery and maladministration. We further wish to echo that the public funds must not be used in a wasteful manner when our dejected masses, the downtrodden, marginalized black class in particular, the have-nots, are crying for basic services such as shelter, water and sanitation, hard and soft infrastructure. It's time for those responsible for wasteful expenditure to be held accountable. Our people's cries over the years have fell on deaf ears. Turn the tables, MEC. Those who have been found to have their hands in the cookie jar should suffer the consequences. Emadlangeni municipal mayor is on record admitting to be part of the team or cabal that looted 4 million of ratepayers' money. With all the billions of taxpayers' money that is channeled into this department, the MSC must account for why COGTA has no internal capacity and why the department continues to document such a consistent and material failure to build capacity within traditional institutions and local government. Before we can even welcome the COGTA budget for the year 2021, we need the MEC to account for its maladministration in the previous years and its colossal failures even in a series of injections it has received from the Treasury. Disaster management centers and supported and maintained, and there's no assistance been given to the districts and the department with regard to the disaster release management planning, let alone to equip such departments for disaster. This has been exposed by the global pandemic that has hit South Africa and the world. Further, I wish to allude that the role of COGTA is not to use its power to oust municipalities that are governed by opposition parties. That is a direct undermining of the collective rights of communities that have exercised their democratic right to vote. With the contempt, we must expose the department's abuse of power to make municipalities looting machinery of the ANC. The use of the Department of COGTA to oust municipalities that are governed by opposition parties, particularly in Zululand, and municipalities like Umtuba, as an organization that is anti-corruption and that is committed to the absolute removal of fraud and corruption in the state departments as a means of ensuring people of South Africa receive enough service delivery. We note and lament the corruption in the IFP-run municipalities. We categorically state our position as the EFF to vote with the IFP, and it was entirely in confidence of the mandate given by our people to deliver basic services to the masses. We never and will never support in corruption. The ANC is quick to put such municipalities under administration, but rewards ANC left with complacency and non-action, particularly in municipalities run by cronies and cabal of the MEC. What is broken in the ANC, it is irreparable.
Honorable Pala, unfortunately, your time is up, honorable member. Thanks for the presentation. The next member to partake on our debate is Honorable Mlojwa for 3 minutes.
Sihlalo.
Is that Honorable Cheliza before Mlotshwa?
Yeah.
Yes, Dunga. Yes, Dunga.
Bona ngathi uyaqibela sihlala ngazoma ngiright.
Hawu. Kanti
Oh.
kwenziwani man?
I'm sorry, yes, I made a mistake, yes. Thanks, Honorable Dunga, for 9 minutes from the ANC's Honorable Cheliza, yes. Thank you so much for quickly reminding me.
Xolisa-ke sihlalo, xolisa kimi sihlalo.
Ngiyaxolisa baba Mlotshwa. Honorable Cheliza, the platform is yours. Wena wasemadungeni.
Siyabonga sihlalo mkhaya wami. Honorable Chairperson, Honorable MEC, Honorable Members, Amakhosi, led by Inkosi Cheliza Umtungu Mkhulu. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Honorable Chairperson, it is a great pleasure to stand before this House on behalf of the African National Congress debating on the COGTA budget. Let me first quote President Nelson Mandela, the great African man, who during his first State of the Nation address said that government should be, and I quote, inspired by a single vision of creating a people-centered society for the expansion of the frontiers and the continuous extension of the frontiers of the freedom. Chairperson, he goes on to say that our definition of freedom must be instructed by the fundamental objectives to restore the human dignity of each and every South African, wherein they have freedom from want, freedom from hunger, freedom from deprivation, freedom from ignorance, freedom from suppression, and freedom from fear. I close quote. Chairperson, let me also talk about the core functions of this department to start with, which the mandate of the department is to coordinate all organs of state to ensure maximum impact, to improve internal and external cooperations and outcomes based on intergovernmental relations and structures, just to mention a few, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson and members, in essence, the department's mandate is at the center of the integrated development and its functions, such as coordinating both vertically and horizontally and doing away with silo approach across the province. Its key area of focus is planning and ensuring that alignment of priorities of both national and provincial departments implementation in local space or with municipality IDPs. Chairperson, just now, for now, I would like to talk about the audit findings. Let me highlight some of them and also support as strategically prioritized by the department, which is to reduce unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure by conducting tests to determine irregular expenditure in COGTA, to conduct tests to determine unauthorized expenditure. We also welcome the department's full implementation of the audit findings recommendations in all forensic investigations. The department has also prioritized to improve its institutional capacity, which amongst other things includes to conduct competency assessments on assistant and deputy directors. Also to conduct organizational functionality assessment and implement an action plan to address inefficiencies. On job creation and economic transformation, Honorable Chairperson, We welcome the commitments announced by MSc Honorable Hlomoga on job creation and economic transformation. On job creation, Chair, the department aims to achieve the disability target of 2% representation of people with disabilities in municipalities and departments. Also implement intake of 38 interns. On economic transformation, the department aims to allocation of the 30% of all the departmental procurement budget to SMMEs, cooperatives, township, rural enterprises, and people with disabilities. In conclusion, Chair, this budget speaks directly to the needs of our people, and it also complied with the SONA, SOPA, and electoral mandate, and therefore we believe that it will meet the intended objectives. I would like, Chair, to thank the MSc of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Hlomoga, ngokuzinikela kwakhe esihlalo ekuqwashiseni abantu umphakathi wakithi kulesifundazwe ngobhubhane lolu olugcwele izwe lonke le-COVID-19, ekwenza lokho ngokusabalalisa iy'nsiza kuvikela kanye nokulekelela nje omasipala ukufezekisa lo msebenzi wokulekelana nemphakathi ukuthi iqwashiseke iphinde ikwazi ukuthi izivikele kulo bhubhane olukhona olugcwele izwe lonke sihlalo. The ANC supports the budget vote 11 sihlalo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dunge, for being gracious and giving us extra time. Chair, thank you. Let us proceed and afford Honorable VR Mlotshwa for 3 minutes from the ANFP. Tumbez Gantans, still already Mhlonishwa busy before time. At least namhlanje akuwona umdlwana. Ushanje ngama-minutes awu-3. Uwedwa iningi kakhulu lonto.
Hayi usibaru ngishiyela uchilizi. Honorable Chairperson, thank you. We start by supporting vote 11 budget. The department undertook various service delivery events such as Operation Khawuleza as part of an intervention to assist municipalities that do not have necessary equipment to provide adequate service delivery to communities. We know your community development workers campaign as well as Masakane campaign as part of initiative to tackle the 20.1 billion debt owed to municipalities by various consumers, among others. But in what way do municipalities' occupancy the debt to accumulate to this enormous amount of 20.1 billion, as this would compromise their functionality? The department commends undertaking water, sanitation, and electricity backlog study, which focus on existing backlog as well as assessing the state of existing infrastructure in the province. Where is the report of the findings supervising of those backlogs? Honorable Chairperson, with regards to the National House of Traditional Leaders, over the 2021 MTF, the department continues with payment of 3,463 Zinduna. The department allocated 347.1 million in 2021, 368 million in 2021-22, and 390 million in 22-23, which carried through, and these amounts cater for the payment of Zinduna, including increases. The work is minimal, as they are counseling everyone in the district to deal with issues relating society. Therefore, the budget cuts by the department should be seen under this category. We request the MEC and the department to address the following issues: a shortage of water in the most districts,
Kodwa Mhlonishwa Mlotshwa, uma phela usemakhaya koBheckville ozama indawo negqumu, bososaliyo 2 seconds nje Mhlonishwa singabe sesiyakuvala. On that note, the next member to partake in our debate from MF, Honorable Takul Rajbans, for 3 minutes. The platform is yours, Honorable Member.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Greetings to Honorable MEC Shlemuka, guests and officials. The idea to have a robust municipal organizational structure and critical resources such as manpower, IT, logistics, and engineering to ensure plans and operations could deal with the sudden attack by minute yet potent germs bear significance moving forward, Honorable Members. Honorable Members, during this pandemic at a legislature level, MPLs were holding long meetings and moving about, but councils were in hibernation most of the time. Residents experienced hardships with outages of lights and water. Very few councils responded whilst call centers were closed. The key priority investment should now be IT infrastructure, more roles and responsibilities for municipal staff and councils during crises. The MF recommends a revised hybrid disaster management structure for all municipalities for better coordination of disaster with an organizational structure of a project for humanitarian activities and military organizational combat frame. This model is flexible and can be adapted to different situations for one goal only, and that is to save lives, like the 2017 Brazilian model. This means that our National Disaster Management Center needs to review the 1st of April 2017 guidelines, Honorable MEC. The Minority Front is confident that although 60% of the COVID-19 cases are in eThekwini, but the senior political leadership there are known to us. They are knowledgeable public representatives who can rebuild eThekwini and revitalize the CBD in many ways, like regulating a cleanup of the old buildings, inspecting buildings being used as factories, ensuring ongoing testing and screening inside buildings and the public transportation system, regulating non-touch structures like lifts. The MF wants to confirm whether COGTA had given eThekwini the go-ahead to borrow 500 million rands. Well, this money must be used for capital infrastructure, especially in areas surrounding the Westville campus of Reservoir Hills, Clare Estate and Sydenham, which really needs upgrades for bulk infrastructure. A serious concern is Imsunduzi and the imminent closure of the SPCA, which is owed over 300,000 rand from the municipality for taking care of stray dogs, especially during COVID-19. Honorable MEC, please intervene. The Minority Front takes this opportunity to thank eThekwini for giving 1,000 food parcels and vouchers to ward councillors. Yes, but the MF supports vote 11 and the budget of 1.18 billion for the 2020-2021 financial year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rajbans. The next member to partake in our debate for 10 minutes from the African National Congress, Honorable SM Sonjika Dlangamandla. The platform is yours for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson Lwandle. Greetings to the members of the Executive Council. Greetings to Amakosi asendlunkulu, ikakhulukazi uIdunge Nkosi Cheleza. It gives us pleasure to be afforded this opportunity to participate in this budget debate for vote 11, so eloquently presented by MEC Mlalazi Ganogxaga. This budget defined the actuality of the period we are in as a country and quite succinctly sketched the bright possibilities ahead under the very unprecedented times in the history of humanity. Just as a by the way, Honorable Nene couldn't bring himself to asking for the report about Zululand municipality. I hope when he comes back, he is going to ask the MEC to give us that report as well. The priorities spelled out in this budget are indeed priorities of the ANC-led administration as articulated in the manifesto and the National Development Plan. As this legislature, we want to see a well-functioning municipalities delivering first-class services to the people of KZN. Honorable Chairperson, one of the critical tasks of this government is to stimulate economic growth and increase investor confidence. Our municipalities, through the provincial provision of infrastructure and sustainable services, are a vital cog in that national effort. Economic growth can only happen when key infrastructure such as roads, water, and sanitation are in place and functional. Through this budget presentation, we are seeing KZN COGTA transforming into a veritable service delivery machinery. Nowhere is this more evident than in its record in the delivery of municipal infrastructure support. Through Operation Khawuleza, the department has provided plant equipment that, as we speak, is improving access to infrastructure to many of our municipal residents. TLBs, graders, etc. have been dispatched to municipalities. The department continues to roll out water, electricity, and sanitation at a breakneck pace that is unprecedented in this province's history. This is evident in the prioritization of water master plan and the rollout of interventions to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. We know that the best form of combat against this disease is through non-pharmaceutical interventions, such as social distancing, washing of hands regularly with water and soap, and hand sanitizers, and wearing of masks. We welcome the water intervention plan to address challenges in hotspots over the next months. Water-stressed districts that would benefit from this project include Ugu, Utugela, Umzinyati, Amajuba, Umkanyagute, and Herekwala. The infrastructure support provided to municipalities by KZN COGTA is a strategic mitigation factor against COVID-19 in that it facilitates effective hygiene, but also ensures that the provision of sustainable, reliable services. KZN remains one of the top provinces in spending of the municipal grant, although as the committee we think more needs to be done in assisting municipalities, as we will know that municipalities are retaining a lot of money unspent in this grant. Chairperson, our appeal is that the department needs to pay more attention to the issues of repairs and maintenance of municipal infrastructure. This remains one of the key concerns and strategic priorities of the ANC-led government. The department needs to enforce the provision that a significant percentage of municipal infrastructure budget must attend to the operations and maintenance. If we do not maintain what we have created and let it collapse, we will never reach the intended destination of a better life for all. In his book, Earth Hills of Savannah, celebrated author Chinua Achebe sagely notes that a cock that crows in the morning belongs to one household, but his voice is the property of the neighborhood, close quote. This is the case with the municipalities. When they work, they deliver for us, for all of us, regardless of race, color, or creed. We all have a duty to support our local government institutions so that they can work better for our people. KZN is a microcosm of local government in South Africa. We are representative of both its success and its shortcomings. In order to maximize the success and minimize the shortcomings, the department must attend fully to the multiple challenges identified in the assessment process of the state of local government. We ask the department to respond comprehensively to the challenges of non-payment for services, which is at the heart of Eskom, at the heart of threats by Eskom to switch off power in some municipalities. The exercise of accountability must commence even in this House, Honorable Chair. No one must owe money for services in our municipalities. We welcome the Masakane campaign, which is part of efforts to address this challenge of non-payments for services. However, this needs to be a collective campaign, not just solely prerogative of COGTA. Honorable Chair, we remain unshaken in our resolve to create a sustainable and developmental local government. From this side of the House, we want to reiterate our commitment to ensure that government and municipalities remain the pillar of our economic growth. Lastly, Honorable Chair, we ask the department to refocus the municipalities to the new infrastructure opportunities that need to be taken advantage of. Municipalities must be encouraged to pursue technological excellency and invest in technological infrastructure. Technology is an enabler, as an enabler for growth and can assist in pointing challenges to infrastructure before there is complete breakdown. Chinua Achebe, in his book, Error of God, states that the fly that has no one to advise follows the corpse into the grave, close quote. We stand at the most critical moment as a province to decide what type of economy we want to create for the future. If our municipalities do not innovate, the risk is very high that they may be like that fly that follows the corpse into the grave. We support this budget and ask for it to be increased, Honorable Chair. We pledge to work with the MEC and the department as they tackle the day-to-day running of the most contentious and crucial portfolios. We also pledge to give our full unwavering support as the ANC in this regard. As one writer put it, Honorable Chair, we say to the MEC and the department, the collective efforts of revolutionaries to transform, to improve the concrete situation of the masses of our country, close quote. I wish to conclude, Honorable Chair, by quoting one English author, Douglas Adams. I open quote, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be bought or measured with money. And that is a sincerity and an integrity. I thank you, Honorable Chair. The ANC fully support this budget.
Thank you so much, Dlangamandla Mkhulu, for giving us your presentation. The next member to partake in our presentation or debate is Honorable M.E. Pagat, who has since apologized in the funeral, but according to Rule 73 is allowed to request another member. He has since requested Honorable M.S.E. Mangale to take both his time, and Bob Mangale will then follow. So we'll have 6 minutes combined. He will debate for Bob Pagati and then for his space. They are both men of God, so they've requested. It shows a nice delicacy and collegiality amongst them that they could share this time. The platform is yours, Mfundisi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greeting to the President, to the MEC, and all members of the Portfolio Committee and Parliament. The ACDP welcome and accept the budget presented by the MSc S.E. Hlomuga, with some emphasis which we think it will help the department. ACDP has noticed that the department has the capacity constraint. There is a limited capacity available to provide the necessary support to the municipalities. Further, learned that the department does need to have the competitive, well-trained, and knowledgeable personnel. Therefore, as ACDP, we think it is very important that the vacant post of the 108 vacant internal post to be better filled so that people will be equipped and the department will be equipped. We understand that MEC Hlomuga has deployed additional water tankers to the province's Water Services Authority with an effort to bring water close to the community as the province and the country continue to fight against the spread of COVID-19. We thank you, MEC, for that effort, but I want to emphasize that water is still a huge problematic in the whole province, more especially in rural areas. People resort to violence because of water shortage. The department also supplied water tankers to schools, but MEC schools, as we talk, has got no water. So let alone the issue of running water, I just mean water, which means a lot still have to be done about the issue of water, MEC. This department need to have a gathering with the people of KwaZulu-Natal and give more clarity about the school transport. Always you go, people have got questions about the school transport. It also needs to review the issue of waste management. The waste management, that does not include the rural areas. So it's leading to people dumping refuse all over in river stream. So something must be done about that. Because even in rural areas are the part and the parcel of the municipalities. We are in a wall-to-wall municipality, then we need service of waste management.
Your first 3 minutes is over. Your first minute is over. 3 minutes. Can you please proceed to your time now?
Okay, I'm about to get finished. Fire services should be given more priorities. Need to develop proper fire stations, and all vehicles are not matching the game anymore. The issue of town planning should also be given priority. Come up with new plans for development, town congested, new township, or even the expansion. Otherwise, ACDP is so grateful about the performance of the department, and we are willing, if the MEC chairperson and the members of the committee can come up with a proposal of increasing the funding to this department, because there are a number of other tasks which has not fully performed up to this far. Chairperson, ACDP accept and adopt the presented budget proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Bafundisi ngokubambisana kahle kangaka. The next member to come back and debate for 4 minutes is from the DA is Honorable M. Toli. We hope she has sorted her video. Can you just please ensure that you switch both your video and your screen, Honorable Member, and proceed.
Ngiyabonga Sihlalo. Sihlalo, I raised the issue of disaster management relief money very strongly because this money has been allocated by our national department. Saphinda futhi sezwa ukuthi umongameli uthe kuzoba khona 20 billion uzoza kumasipala. We have asked as a Democratic Alliance, where is KZN's money? Imalini nokuthi ubani ozobe egadile ngoba siyazi ukuthi sinenkinga komasipala bethu ukuthi imali inyamalala ngendlela singayitholi kahle. Singathanda ukuthi ungqongqoshe esitshele ukuthi le mali izogadwa kanjani, because asakezwa ngisho kwi-portfolio committee how this money will be tracked and who will be ensuring that it is included and it is used for what it is meant to be used for. We were disappointed to hear the MEC boasting about eThekwini municipality as a standard to be emulated. He spoke of a heartwarming story in the eThekwini municipality and its new leadership. We think what the MEC meant was that now that a factional battle has been won, the winning faction is happy with the new appointees. This can be the only explanation because there's no heartwarming story of eThekwini. Just last week, Lomasipalo vume ama performance bonuses, despite not being able to justify why it is unable to do its core functions. We believe that the DA has raised many issues around the eThekwini municipality, both locally and provincially. So kusimangazile ukuzo uMEC ekhuluma kahle kanjena ngeTheku ngoba ilona ngempela silibona ngathi linenkinga enkulu for isize lalo. We were confused also by the MEC's happiness that KZN has 50% of its municipalities with unfunded budgets. Asibona ukuthi into encomekayo lena noma into efanele sijabulele. Awukho umasipala kufanele ngabe une-unfunded budget.
Honorable
This means that literally...
Sorry, is that an order?
Honorable Chairperson?
Yes, Honorable Sonjita.
I would like to check if the honorable member will take a question, because I see it's supporting America. There is a flag there that supports Trump there. I want to...
It's up to you, honorable member.
Well, I'm sorry, Lutho, but I'm called flag anyway, so I'm not Kumangan.
Okay, it's okay. Proceed, Honorable Member.
Ngiyabonga Sihlalo. Njengoba bengisho, we were confused also MEC ngajabulela ukuthi 50% of omasipala have unfunded budgets, because what this means ukuthi sinomasipala who have literally budgeted for money that they do not have. So it is astounding that an MEC would see this as a good thing. And what we really should be seeing or hearing from the MEC is that he's going to take all these experts at the Kulumangawa, ebatshela ukuthi abahambe kulabo masipala beyolungisa isimo sokuthi kungabi khona omasipala with unfunded budgets, precisely because we are not going to have imali besisizilindele kulonyaka, and we're even going to have more budget cuts. So kuyasimangaza kakhulu so MEC bengakhuluma ngaleyo nto. We really think that the MEC must take this seriously, because it actually is in contravention of our own PFMA. We can't have omasipala with unfunded budgets. And one of those is Ugu, which once again has been a municipality that has been plagued with many issues. And yet the MEC seems okay to be saying that he is happy that half of our municipalities have unfunded budgets, bearing in mind that only one municipality was even able to have a clean audit. It's clear to us as the Democratic Alliance that basic services that is delivered by KZN municipalities are going to take forever. And ngiyacaca ukuthi khona iy'ngane ezizokhula zingazi nokuthi imigqomo iyakwazi ukulandwa emawodini abo, noma nje ukuthi ikhonte ekwazi ukulethwa umasipala in terms of umnotho or amathuba omsebenzi. We really believe that the citizens of KZN are being denied basic dignity to live in clean, reliable, and stable cities. And we think that this is at the feet of COGTA, and we really hope ukuthi MEC engakwazi ukuthi eshintshe le nto ngoba okwamanje ibudget ngendlela eyiyona angeke zikwazi ukusebenza. So as a Democratic Alliance, we believe that if the ANC continues to govern in this way, then the Black lives that they say matter will actually continue to just be words by the ANC and will not be backed up by action. As a Democratic Alliance, we will not be supporting Program 2 and 3 of this budget.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. From the IFP for 5 minutes, Honorable OP Kunene, to round off your presentation. The platform is yours, Mtimand.
Honorable Chairperson, I hope Honorable Sonjika heard me when I said, and all other reports that were commissioned by the department, if he listened carefully. I continue from where I left off. The IFP calls upon the department to strengthen its interaction with Amakosi, and I'm pleased that the Honorable MEC did talk about this. The IFP believes traditional leadership has a critical role to play in developing our rural communities, particularly during this period of COVID-19. Amakosi and traditional structures can play a big role in influencing communities to observe regulations that the government has announced to contain the spread of COVID-19. It could have assisted a lot if those who distribute food parcels could interact with Amakosi, because Amakosi have got a good idea of families in need, and they know about those who live in abject poverty, who are in desperate need of assistance. As custodians of customs and values, Amakosi command a lot of influence to rural communities, and they look up to them for leadership and guidance in facing whatever challenge they may be faced with. Strengthening the institution of traditional leadership will go a long way to stabilize and show progress among rural communities. The IFP calls upon the department to strengthen and develop the minimum standards for all disaster management centers within our province. During the winter season, it is an opportune moment to give urgent attention to this matter, so that by the time the summer season comes, all management centers within our province will have the ideal capacity to mitigate whatever disaster incidents that may occur. The winter season also has its challenges posed by field fires. It is important that disaster management centers within our province are also ready to deal with this challenge. The IFP wishes to see the department expediting the process of expediting filling of vacant posts in order to enhance its capacity to fulfill its mandate and obligations. The IFP welcomes the budget of 1.8 billion rand allocated to the department. The IFP is ready and willing to be a reliable partner to a department that is committed to serving the people of our province. We note with concern that the department has been reduced. This means we have to do more with less due to the financial constraints our country is facing, and such conditions will not cease in the short term. The IFP will monitor the implementation of the APP of the department and will exercise its oversight role over the functioning of the department as part of the portfolio committee. We call for the prudent spending of the budget allocated to the department, and we hope that this will be done. We wish to commend the MEC for the strategic direction he provided in his budget speech. We hope that if what he said in the budget speech is implemented, it will go a long way in ensuring that the problems outlying about the state of our local government will be resolved. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson, the IFP supports the budget. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. The last member to partake in the debate before the MEC can respond, Honorable from the ANC, SC Nkosi, for 12 minutes. Zangamandla singabakho mfowethu, over to you.
Siyabonga mphathi wohlelo. Sicela nje okokuqala ukuthi sikhuleke kumakhosi onke alakithi KwaZulu-Natal, ikakhulukazi kusihlalo owaholayo inkosi uChiliza kanye nabo bonke abaholi ahola nabo. Ngeke ngilenze iphutha ungabingeleli undunankulu wesifundazwe swakithi KwaZulu-Natal, umhlonishwa uZikalala kanye nawo wonke amalungu esigungu sakhe i-Provincial Executive Committee, nathi sonke bese-ke ngidlulela kubaholi bomasipala kanye nawo wonke umphakathi wakwaZulu-Natal. Ngifuna nje ukukubeka nje kusaqala ukuthi we as the African National Congress fully support the budget as presented by the MEC. We are pleased to hear that our friends from the IFP are also supporting the budget as tabled. Honorable Chairperson would want to highlight the important role of COGTA in rendering support to our own municipalities. We'd also want to indicate that through the MEC for Finance, when he tables the 71 report, Section 71 reports, we know the challenges that are there in the municipality. And we are quite convinced as the African National Congress that the MEC and his department are addressing these issues. As other honorable members have indicated, that we as the COGTA Portfolio Committee of KwaZulu-Natal, we did all which needs to be done in oversight over the COGTA department. We engaged COGTA in all the drafts of its APP as well as the budget. As the chairperson has indicated of our committee, that we even went to the public in Mkhanyakude in order to present that together with the department. We want to indicate that we are mindful of the fact that the budget, as Honorable Gnan has indicated, has been reduced by a small margin based on what is happening in the whole country. We are also mindful that the budget of 1.879 billion rand will be allocated to this department. And this shows an increase of 54.267 million rand overall. But we are also aware that it is slightly above what was allocated in the previous financial year. But before we get there, I think it will be correct just to indicate that I agree 90% with the professional argument that is advanced by Honorable Gunene. The concerns Honorable Gunene has are the same concerns we have as the African National Congress. But we as the ANC, as a revolutionary party, we decided to intervene in the municipalities that are led by ourselves. That's why then we'll encourage all other parties that are in control of the municipalities to follow suit. You know, we're brave to intervene to the biggest municipality called eThekwini Metro. I have heard the Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Chairperson, raising a lot of issues, and it dawned in my mind that this honorable member is no longer living in KwaZulu-Natal. She has indicated that the KZN-led government of the ANC does not care about the poor. I would want to ask her these rhetorical questions. Awani kanti lama grant lana esiwanikeza millions of people njalo makuqala inyanga. Uyazi lo mhlonishwa ukuthi KwaZulu-Natal omasipala bayagqugquzelwa uKOGTA ukuthi badevelop what we call the indigenous policies owenza ukuthi bonke abantu abangakwazi ukuthi bakhokhe insiza ezibalekile ukuthi labo bantu labo bayakwazi ukuthola the basic services elokhuka in terms of that policy. And umfowethu udadewethu umhlonishwa uNtuli ukhala ngokuthi asibanaka abantu kanti owani lama food parcel abebehlala besithuka minyaka yonke bethi simosha imali uma ngabe sinikeza abantu bakithi abalala bengadlile. Eziningi-ke izinto esingayikhuluma ezikhombisa ukuthi as the ANC government we are a caring government. Into-ke esibili futhi intokazi umhlonishwa uNtuli akhuluma ngayo uthi uhulumeni we-ANC awungeneleli. Kanti kwakwenzekani eThekwini municipality ngonyaka odlule ngalesikhathi umhlonishwa uHlomuka eyongenelela kanye nenhlangano yakhe ukuthi kubazi ukuthi kuyolungiswa isimo eThekwini. And into engifuna nje ukuyibeka njengomhlali waseThekwini kwasamina ukuthi we are seeing stability in eThekwini after the intervention of KOGTA and the ANC in that municipality. Ukhala-ke futhi umhlonishwa ngokuthi awekho ama-disaster management centers. Sifuna ukumtshela ngoba uyafika kwaKOGTA ukuthi here in KwaZulu-Natal, KOGTA KZN has built disaster management centers in all districts of KwaZulu-Natal. Some of those have been visited by us who were members of KOGTA Portfolio Committee. But-ke ngoba vesa kahlali KwaZulu-Natal, ngicabanga ukuthi angimyeke uzoqonda ukuthi KwaZulu-Natal kwenzakalani. Umhlonishwa uthwala lo obelonga kwi-party esingathi is a stockfell of angry young people. Uthi they are anti-looting. Yini kanti leyenzeka kumathenda aseLimpopo ayefaka umholi wabo? Kanti hobani laba abareyde i-VBS bayishaya bayivala njengoba isagcina ivaliwe nje? Yini inkinga lokhuka lapho? Kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi uyithola impendulo ngoba akazazi kahle.
Is there a member who's calling for an order?
Yes, it's Honorable Twala.
Oh, yeah, Baba Twala.
Umhlonishwa Nkosi should desist from misleading this house. There are no records where our leadership is found to have been implicated on the collapse of VBS. It's the ANC.
There is no order there.
Municipalities
Proceed, Honorable
that
Nkosi.
looted
That's not an order.
Mr.
That's a
Nkosi
call
must
for
not
discussion.
mislead.
You've been
Mr.
assigned an
Nkosi.
assignment. You debated. Honorable Nkosi, you are protected. Proceed.
Siyabonga kakhulu Sihlalo. Okunye futhi umhlonishwa uthwala engathi akakuqondi kahle iPFMA akayiqondi ukuthi there is a difference between irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Sicabanga ukuthi uzobheka ke iPFMA yakhe ngoba ilegislature yamnika. But we want to indicate that we as the ANC do not condone any wrong, whether it is done by our own party or anybody else. When they are in that thing of scandalizing our party, ourselves are not going to do so, but we are going to focus on delivering services to our people. Honorable Chairperson, as we have indicated that we have noted that the COGTA department is having a budget that is aligned to 4 programs. As we have indicated earlier on, we support all allocated budgets to to program number 1 up to program number 4. And we are not going to be convinced by anyone who is giving us arguments that doesn't make sense. Honorable Chairperson, would want also to raise an issue in this August House that recently we have approved the division of revenue bill. In that division of revenue bill, it is revealed that for 3 consecutive years in the Republic, more than 1.7 billion rand is returned to the National Revenue Fund. It is on the basis of that we will appeal to COGTA to strengthen capacity building around the issues of management of resources at that particular level. We also want to indicate that we as the ANC have noted the decline by more than R1 million of the conditional grant allocated to COGTA. That reduction will require that the department works very hard in order to recover that. Otherwise, they will be found wanting in the allocation of the next financial year. We have raised that thing with them and we are comfortable because they are in agreement with us as the portfolio committee on COGTA. We really cannot fail, Chairperson, to congratulate and commend the Department of COGTA for the closeout report that they have given to us for the previous financial year. In line with the words and commitments that were made by Mr. Tuban, the head of department, and Honorable Hlomuga as the political head of the department, that they were going to spend the budget in full. Indeed, COGTA has reported that more than 99% of their budget was spent. And out of that remaining 1%, it was beyond their control, according to the clear explanation that they gave to us. We congratulate them even for the achievement of more than 90% of their targets as set in their APP. Allow me, Chairperson, to conclude by stating that we in the ANC benches will work very hard for the people that we liberated. And we are not going to betray the struggles that were advanced by many of our own revolutionaries, and specifically the Ibhubesi laseMgungundlovu, Umdala, Ubaba uHerigwala, a fearless fighter who feared nobody, whether within the movement and outside the movement. And Honorable Gwala, we miss you, because if you are still alive, you would be 100 years this year. So we are missing you, our first chief whip in 1994. Thank you very much, Chairperson. We support the budget without any conditions as the African National Congress.
Siyabonga kakhulu umhlonishwa uDlangamandla ukuyivala kahle. We are taking the platform back to our honorable MEC. Sifisa ukuthi nathi sithathe ithuba sibingela inkosi yasemadungeni. Siyasalute enkosini yesizwe. Siyabonga nangomsebenzi omuhle abawenzela isizwe. We didn't greet as well the HOD Babu Tubane. Siyabonga mhlekazi ngomsebenzi owenzayo ubambisene no-MEC nethimba lakho. Honorable MEC, you have 20 minutes to respond on the debate presented by honorable members. The platform is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Want to acknowledge all the contributions made by the honorable members, and we want to assure that the comments or contribution made in this, we are noting and we are taking those comments with due respect, and we are going to include some of the input made by the honorable members. As we are aware, Honorable Chair, that it is our constitutional duty to ensure that national and provincial government support the municipalities as per Section 154 of the Constitution of the Republic, and we are going to continue to support municipalities. However, Chair, on the issues raised by different honorable members, I want to respond.
Sorry, Salo. It's Honorable Ntuli.
Yes, Honorable Ntuli, which point are you raising on?
No, I just asked quick group chat.
Yes, he is more than audible. It's only on your side. If you can just sort, yeah, it might be the US flag disturbing you. We're sorry, yeah, the MEC is audible. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Chen.
Okay,
thanks. Proceed, Honorable MEC.
Sizomsiza Honorable Ntuli Ezra ngenye indlela. Mhlambe sizibhala phansi ama response akhe, Honorable Chair. I think, Chair, on the issue raised by Honorable Chair of the portfolio, Baba Mvelas, mhlawumbe siqale, Chair, by sibonge support enkulu esithola from a portfolio committee benza i-oversight, and we want to ensure that we comply with all our input raised by a portfolio committee members. But issue lega 4 million I raisile side transfer yaga office of the Prima for Isilo Samabandla. We are having an engagement with the OTP to deal with the MOU and how we're going to deal with that 4 million. In the next sitting of the portfolio, we are going to provide a detailed report how are we dealing with that 4 million, Chairperson. On the issues raised by, I think, Honorable Governor, she raised or comments on our budget policy or speech, and we are thankful about that. However, we will continue to provide support in our municipalities on the issues that she raised about the grant or money that we transferred at Umkhanyakude and the Bakulusi. We want to report that the amount of 29 million that we transferred to Umkhanyakude to deal with the project of water as Kemelele. The project is on site. They use Umhlathuze as their agent ukuthi benze that project. As a department, we have developed a committee that monitor under infrastructure, that monitor the implementation of all infrastructure projects. And we are going to give a detailed report on the progress of each and every infrastructure project raised here. Even the project at Abaqolosi, the amount that was transferred to Abaqolosi, working with MISA, the project had delays. However, we've engaged the municipality and also UMISA, and the project is oqhubeka to deal with the issue yamanzi lapha eMondlo under Abaqolosi chairperson. Hence, I've indicated that we have established a provincial monitoring and evaluation team that deals with all issues komasipala. I think Honorable Ntimande, Honorable Ognene, Omkhaya wami, Chair, my problem to respond to issues akhe, he kept on raising that there is a perception. A perception is a perception until it is proven. However, on the issue that he raised, the perception there is corruption, the ayikho delivery eya kwamasipala, amathenda atholakala ngendlela engekho alright. I will request that we report on the specific wrongdoings done by omasipala bakithi if kukhona into enjalo, but we have a responsibility to ensure that we support and we monitor activities enziwa omasipala in all over the province. We are going to check lama issues umhlonishwa Ognene awarazile. The issue of water as a challenge in rural areas. I think, Chair, all of us were aware that water is a scarcity. However, it being a song because a challenge of water is not a KZN challenge, but it's a national issue because umalingani izulu kuba a problem. However, we've tried our level best as a provincial government or COGTA to have short-term and a medium and a long-term. A long-term is where we are working with national government and the water service authorities, where the transfer ama-grant ukuthi kufakwa amapayipi kube khona amanzi aya emakhaya. But while kuna challenge, especially in the rural areas, hence we have procured 3,000 septic tanks, and we distributed those 3,000 septic tanks to all district municipalities. Khona bewazo ayisa kumawadi aKwaZulu-Natal. We also assisted by ensuring that we transferred water tankers, as I've already reported, to all district municipalities to ensure that we support. We were just adding water tankers abanawo masipala, especially at district level, because our districts and other municipalities are water service authorities, of which that doesn't mean banawo vela mayama water tankers, but we're supporting and providing more water tankers, of which we have indicated in the budget speech that it's in that a program or project. It's an ongoing process. We are going to continue to provide more resources with the limited resources that we have. And we also want to respond that our municipalities, they do engage communities, because you know that you can't just pass a budget without public participation as defined in the Public Systems Act, Chapter 4, that municipalities, they need to engage communities and get their needs so that as a part of IDP process, and also the process of budgeting. But if kukhona umasipala honorable okunenamaziyo ongayenzi i-public participation, would like to ukuthi siwathole so that sizokwazi ukuthi sikulandelele lokho. They are monthly and bi-monthly meeting where provincial COGTA, they coordinate a meeting with all municipalities under public participation and get the report. Sitholakala ukuthi oma council ama meeting bawabiza kanjani. I think on the forensic investigation reports, the one that already presented to council, we can, because if you see presented to council, it's public domain, it's easy to get it. But we also want to request that honorable members from different political parties, especially njengayo baba Ognene, bakwazi ukuthi where omasipala nababa waphethe bakwazi uku-emphasize ukuthi implement ama-recommendation akhona, bangatholakali sebevota ukuthi ayinga-implement ama-recommendation because bekhavana bebodwa. Angifuni ukungena kakhulu kwi-issue engikhuluma ngayo ngoba lapha eZululand yapresentwa nakhona i-forensic investigation report, but IFP-led municipality yadecide ukuthi ihlangane ne-EFF ukuthi bathi abayifuni uku-implementa ama-recommendation. That's the matter that we are dealing with at COGTA 11. Akithi uza kwethu Honorable Untoli, it's not true that there's only one municipality that is functioning, functional KZN. You will remember that there are 33 municipalities that receive unqualified audit opinion with findings. What does that mean? It means omasipala benza kahle kodwa kunama matters, there might be 2 or 3 matters abadinga ukuthi omasipala baba consider. Hence we said in our speech we've identified at least 10 municipalities abathola an unqualified audit opinion with funding esizosebenza nabo to have a plan ukuthi ongenani bathole unqualified with no funding, which is known as a clean audit. And we have indicated that even unfunded budget, we indicated it to have increased from the past. We're not saying our circle, there are 8 municipalities still have unfunded budget, but we have developed a plan approve on national treasurer. I say approve on national treasurer who are way to differ with them, because a plan that was presented to national treasurer is credible. I think it's important, Chair, that we raise that. I really, it's not true. There's no consequence management where kuna corruption corner, because I can indicate, Chair, kuno ama officials out 17 are with DC and are reported even poison from different municipalities as part of consequence management, and what was recover nemali abayithathile. A case in point is Mtobatuba nje recent where number officials that were suspended on the basis of the report, forensic report that was presented by the municipality, and they have opened the case a police station, and the process is ongoing. So it's not true. There is no consequence management there. Even at the COGTA level, we open a case for 3 officials babenza corruption and by a court, and they were found guilty. So I just want to report that what Honorable Ntoli is saying, I don't think it's on the kakhulu neqiniso. On the issue yokuthi iphi imali ye disaster, I think we need to educate our honorable members that as a COGTA, as we manage the disaster in the province, when we submit for a disaster, akusho ukuthi imali yakhona iza ka-COGTA straight, but isendwa to departments or municipalities asuke ethinte ngaso sikhathi leso. A typical example, we submitted a request to National COGTA to request a disaster funds for our municipalities with the amount of 86 million. However, the national approved 47 million, but they sent direct to municipalities. We've never received any cent from that. But our responsibility is to ensure that the money that was sent to different municipalities, to all municipalities, by the way, we are going to monitor ukuthi is spent ngendlela correct. So we have a responsibility to ensure ukuthi we monitor the way omasipala bespenda ngakhona imali grant. That means officials led by the HOD in different branches, they are doing umsebenzi wawo. It's not true ukuthi issue yaso oku were implementing what EDA complained, but EDA nayo is one of our stakeholders who raised their issues among other stakeholders, because while listening, caring government, we said let's assist our people, because working together we can do more. Ingakho-ke sisho ukuthi kubalulekile ukuthi sisebenzisane noma kuzopha iziphi inkinga. I'm not chair going to agree with Honorable Twala uma ethi omasipala abalidwa yi-ANC baya collapse or they are failing, because umkhandlu usukhandiwe kusuke sekukhona all political parties, and they have a responsibility to ensure ukuthi benza isiqiniseko somasipala baba kahle. But it's important ukuthi when the challenges we work together, and the provincial government we intervene. As in the budget speech we indicated that babe u9 omasipala ababe putwe under section 139 1B of the constitution, and about 8 owodwa waphuma, and bonke lamasipala akubona amasipala bonke abalidwa i-ANC, but also bakhona nabalidwa i-IFP, working with the IFP, working with the EFF. So it's not true i-comment eshiwo uzakwethu umfowethu uThwala uma yethi they are not part of the corruption. They can't vote with corruption, but they have voted with IFP as Zululand to dismiss the forensic report clear ukuthi imali zaseZululand zenziwa kanjani. That means they are part of the corruption by virtue of voting with the IFP, especially at Zululand. I think Honorable Uzonjeka was make comments siwathathile wonke awashilo. Honorable Babu Umanlele, we are going to fill the back-end posts that are funded. There is a process that we are following, which is the government process, and some of the posts for sure we are going to advertise in the next coming days or week, and we are going to ensure that we fill those critical posts as requested by Honorable Umanlele. I think the issue I have responded to it is a challenge, but we are trying our level best to ensure that we sinikeza abantu bakithi amanzi all over the province. I'm not going to the issue of scholar transport is I think uzakwethu MEC Untuli dealt with that matter with budget speech yakhe. We are maybe on the issue yet allocation of 20 billion that was pronounced at the national level, it is on omasipala. So far, awukho umasipala osatholile that part of 20 billion. However, there is a process ekufanele eyenziwa Department of Treasury, of which they will inform us ukuthi izo-allocate-wa kanjani. We'll then take it from there, how are going to monitor the implementation of that allocation of 20 billion. It won't be 20 billion for KZN, but the 20 billion was for the whole South Africa. Maybe KZN might get 4 billion or 5 billion. Then Treasury I allocated using their formula of allocating a budget, like when they are allocating a budget for equitable share, Honorable Chairperson. The reason in the budget speech singoma ithegu singakho siraisile ukuthi we just were grateful ukuthi there is a stability in the municipality, because ukuze umkhandlu lunge kufanele kuqale bekhona stability at the political level and administrative level, so that everyone uzokwazi ukusebenziswane abantu bakithi bathole ama-services. That's why we are raising it, ukuthi we are happy ukuthi kube khona istability, because uma singekho istability kusho ukuthi akuzukwenzeka lutho kulo masipala lona. I think if Honorable Mbali Untuli as a DA, they don't support program 2 and program 3, that means fanele kube on record abantu bakithi eKwaZulu-Natal bazi ukuthi i-DA ayisupport ukuthi siyo-support omasipala sibasize, because program 2 is a branch that deal with supporting bonke omasipala bakithi, ukuthi bathi asingabasupport omasipala bona ngokwabo. Sizoqhubeka kodwa ukuthi sibasupporte, futhi uprogram 3 ukhuluma nge-development and planning, esikushilo ukuthi le mali izosebenza kanjani. Sizesasho ukuthi kakhulukazi i-issue yamanzi enye into ezokwazi ukusiza program 3. If i-DA ayisupport program 3, kusho ukuthi ithi abantu bakithi KwaZulu-Natal bangawatholi amanzi, kusho ukuthi bayaphikisana bethi bafuna amanzi, kodwa futhi bethi ayingasupportwa budget 3. Ngicabanga ukuthi kobaleka ukuthi oza kwethu bakwazi uku-understanda ukuthi i-program ne-program isuke issue thing. Having said that, Honorable Chairperson, I really want to appreciate comments ayenziwe ama colleagues, and I want to ngiphinde ngibonke i-portfolio committee kakhulukazi usihlalo, who always guide us even outside the portfolio committee, where kunama issues he feel ukuthi umphakathi nama complaint awaraise siyafisa ukuthi ngathi bangaqhubeka kanjalo bayisupport esi-department okwenza isiqiniseko ukuthi i-service yakubantu. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ngiti. Baba Hlomuka siyabonga for ensuring that this was a success. We've since been joined by Honorable Premier Kuzen. We welcome you at the tail end of this budget presentation. We're also joined by Honorable Simelane Zulu from Health, the MEC of Health. We've also been joined by Honorable MEC Agriculture, Honorable Stole Moloi. For gracing our shows. Honorable Speaker is in our midst as well. We recognize your presence, Honorable Somlomo Siyabonga Mahubel. Thank you, honorable members.
I'm also here, Francois Rogers. Also here.
Honorable Rogers is in our midst. We recognize you, farmer. Let us thank so much irole edlalwa inkosi yasemadungweni ngokwenza umsebenzi. Selihambile ke izwe lenkosi, selifike ku-online stream, lafika ku-4th Industrial Revolution practical. Sikhuluma nje sibhekene kuma camera. Siyabonga kakhulu, honorable members. We can just switch our stream and join the A stream now, which is proceeding with arts and culture. We're only gonna meet back at 2 o'clock on the presentation of 42, the legislature. We can just do that, honorable members. We thank you so much. The lunch is on you as individual members, wherever you are. Thank you so much.